think we're good. I think we're good. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we've got Twitch. We've got YouTube. I think we're good. We've got Abstract. We've got Fun. Boom. We're pumping some fun, baby. Fun, baby. All right. We've got TikTok. We've got YouTube. We've got Twitch. We've got X. We've got Abstract. And we've got TikTok. All live streaming right.
Go tribe, go tribe. All right, let's go.
Yes.
Yeah. Woo. My bags are better than your bags. Your bags have a whole bunch of red
All right.
flags. My bags, they made me rich. Your bags gonna put you in a dit. My bags bought me a mansion. Your bags couldn't buy you a sandwich. My bags bigger than a mountain. Your bags so small you ain't counting. My bags, all of them S tier. Your bags, man, I sold that last year. My bags got me sleeping in the penthouse. Your bags on the couch.
Can't find X. X should be going right now. I'm watching live on X right now. X is working. X says it's working. You want to try it again?
Make me a VIP. Your bags, man, that shit's practically free. We just need to let you know our bags are better, trust me, bro. It doesn't matter what coin you
Should be on all platforms right now.
no matter what you thought. We just need to let you know our bags are better, trust me, bro. It doesn't matter what coin you got. Our bags are bigger no matter what you thought. My bags, not even counting the meme coins. Your bags, guys say oh Bitcoins.
Dev.
My bag,
Hello,
plenty of
Dev.
love lace.
Yes.
Your bag keeps
The
you
Dev
stuck
is
in a rat
live.
race. My bags, we the best, we the GOAT.
Oh, what happened to Pump
Your
Fun again?
bags just a whole bunch of blow. My bags feeling good, touching grass. Your bags, nah, I think I'll pass. My bags got me sailing on a cruise. Your bags got you singing the blues. My bags going up and to the right. Your bags profits disappear.
There it
out of
goes.
sight. My bags Charles bought
Music
himself.
is way louder than you.
Yours
Got it.
sitting on the shelf. Mine's straight from sushi. Yours worse than
Music
bad
should
sushi.
be better now. How does that sound?
More 'cause I'm staking.
Fire
Your
music
bags,
though,
your
right
chains
on.
always breaking.
Yeah, the
My
music
bags,
is
the
so
tech is
fire.
good. Your bags like shit out the hood.
Music is so
My
fire.
bags, I think I've said enough. Your bags, man, that's rough. My bags, I ain't gonna
Let's hope.
sell.
Oh,
Your
you know what?
bags ain't doing too
I might have
well.
to change something on
We just
TikTok.
need to let you know our bags are better, trust me, bro. It doesn't matter what coin you've got. Our bags are bigger no matter what you thought. We just need to let you know our bags are better, trust me, bro. It doesn't matter.
I gotta end TikTok real quick and start over.
Our bags are bigger no matter what you thought. Hey, that was stupid. LF goat. Let's fucking goat.
How did I do that? Let's see here.
Go tribe. Let's fucking go.
This one for all my rap and hip hop lovers. 32 originals, 9 doing covers. Trying to do something completely different from the
How
others.
did I do
Paint a picture
that?
for you now. Do you see
I
the
forget
colors?
now.
Pink, blue, orange, and brown. Was that a zebra? All kinds of breeds around. Hanging out at Charles Ranch, a grassy pasture, a perfect match.
See. Oh, I remember. Go live.
Ouroboros, Aiken, and UTXOs. Okay, I'm getting nerdy. It's time to switch it up. Let me tell you about my latest NFT pickup. It's a goat.
It's still
great.
locked.
There are really lots of details. Can't believe it's a rare. It was owned by huge whale. Oh, never heard of goats. Let me introduce you to the tribe. An NFT collection that's really
What
about
the
hype. We
heck?
have lots haters of the wine and gripe, but goats be the greatest. That's what I ascribe. My drop for building something new to be above rank with the few and drop an album just for you. Cause I'm a goat through and through. Yeah, I linked up with the tribe. We making deals, ain't taking bribes.
Man.
Don't even tell me you don't feel these vibes. These words perfection. I'm like a scribe. See, I
What is
focus in
going
the
on?
smallest things.
So
We making
TikTok
art that's fit for
had it
kings. Like
removed,
these lyrics, most details
and then
over
the
your head. You
audience
won't catch me slipping. That's
has
what I
been
said, 'cause I
restricted
wanna win.
again.
I strive to get ahead. There's room at the top. Let's just break some bread. Damn, this verse is getting long. Let's hit the chords before you click next song. Yeah, we here and we chillin' with the tribe. Got my grass and my hoodie and my light. Getting lit, come on, you know you wanna try. We doing good, bro, please don't kill my vibe. Said we here and we chillin' with the tribe. Crypto underdogs, nah, I ain't gonna lie. So good, they can't ignore it even if they try. We'll never leave until if go till we die. Alright, now you
It's locked again. It was unlocked and now it's locked again.
We hit the gas and use this fire to surpass anyone and
I
everyone.
just
in
had
our
it
way.
fixed.
We climb the mountains to survey this crypto
And now we're
landscape is
back in
gonna
the
stay.
shadow
So
ban.
please just chill and let me lay some of these beats between
All
your
of a
ears.
sudden,
They think I'm new, but been
it was
here years.
fixed.
Rapping on my phone since Blue Side Park. I ain't gonna give up. I'ma make my mark. Just like Mac can make your day better.
was
Say
fixed.
something stupid or something clever. Fuck, just say something. I DK whatever. We built for years and they still hating on us. I ain't complaining. I'm just being honest.
What
They
is
leave
going
us
on?
out of every poll to try and shade us
It
to
was
take
fixed.
control, but we
Chat,
the goats, we
it
real
was
got
fixed.
soul. To be the greatest, that is the goal. So go and judge me and slur my name. Yeah, G9 is what I became. Just judge my music, don't need the fame. But no LF goat is what I proclaim. When you're a goat, you just know it. We the black sheep, yeah, I suppose it's coming for us to just be different. Cause all my life I've been belligerent. I get so mad when they play ignorant, but that's what made us so magnificent. Yeah, we here and we chilling with the tribe. Got my grass and my hoodie and my light. Getting lit, come on, you know you wanna try. We doing good, bro.
Let me see if
please
that
don't kill my
fixed it.
vibe. Said we here and we chilling with the tribe. Crypto underdogs, nah, I ain't gonna lie. So good they can't ignore even
I'm
if they try.
so-
We'll never leave until it go till we die. No, you'll never hear a mumble rap from me. These words I carry, yeah, they have meaning. We in the matrix, but I'm intervening. About to pull you out, Neo, you've been dreaming. Find you in the song and want you to be freed. So get used to seeing goats up in your feet. It's guaranteed that we'll succeed. Come on, man, I know you've seen the term goat used on a TV. It's in sports and it's in music.
This
There
is
are lots
so
of ways to
discouraging.
use it to describe the best. The ones obsessed, that hidden quest. It's like we blessed. Boy, I'm like Santiago, I'm the alchemist. Travel the world and leave you all impressed. Become the wind, my spirit
Smash
strong.
that
I
like
swear
button,
I'll prove them
subscribe to the
haters
channel, share the
wrong.
show with your friends. Apparently, TikTok has put me back in the shadows again. Even though we had it removed, it was removed for like an hour, and as soon as we went to go live, gone right back into it. I don't know what we're gonna do about it. It was just removed, and we were good. We were good, chat. We were good. And now, here we are. It is what it is, right? We'll get this figured out. No one can see the freaking live on TikTok. Oh, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends, follow me, engage in the chat, guys. Spam the chat, help me out, because TikTok, we're having some issues, but we love TikTok Shop. We love TikTok Shop, so I need your help on TikTok right now more than ever to engage with my TikTok. Help me out, because I need TikTok engagement more than ever to break out of the shadow ban. I don't know what happened. We had it figured out and it just came right back. So I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping that we get it fixed. This guy told me Crow was dead and it wouldn't get past 16 cents. Hopefully if you're a subscriber, you got the alert to buy Crow before it happened. So we got Crow early on. So that's awesome. We got to buy Crow before like button, subscribe to everyone else. Right? That's a beautiful thing. All right, guys, make sure you're spamming the chat. Make sure you're engaging on TikTok. Make sure you're engaged with the show. We need your support now more than ever. No, you told me 4 days ago, you told me it wouldn't pass 16 cents. What? No, I didn't. There's no way I told you that. And if I did, guess what? Things are subject to change in this market, but please clip that and send it to me because everything's recorded and posted to YouTube. Okay. But a short-term prediction, if you were a deluxe or any subscriber, I posted that Crow was going to pump. So things are subject to change in the market. Just because someone makes a prediction doesn't mean that that prediction can't change. So 4 days ago is different than 2 days ago. Everything changes. But I doubt I said that because I've been bullish. For some reason, we are back into the TikTok shadow again. It was removed last night. Everything was good. And then when I went to go live right now, it was instantly back. Man, I wouldn't come on here and tell you that if you didn't say it. You said it was, and you were very C. Well, that's the thing is, these markets change every single day, bro. So you got to be plugged in. Just because one day I say it's going to go down doesn't mean it's going to go down every day. Things are subject to change. And I think what you thought is I said, I did a technical analysis and I said that it could go to here and probably pull back. That doesn't mean that it's going to stop there and never go beyond it. So you may have heard incorrectly. But if you're not enjoying yourself here, guess what? You don't have to be here. We don't need you. 126 incoming for what? For XRP? I mean, eventually, yeah, it's coming. We will help you pack your bags. Hey, thank you. Those of you that are deluxe subscribers, you got the alert for Crow. It went out. No bear market. Yeah, we can never have a bear market ever again, guys. Bear markets are a thing of the past. I'm being hyperbolic. That's the sentiment that's going around right now, right? It's crazy to me that that's what people think. We have a special guest today, by the way. We have Mike D coming on. Great guy I got to hang out with in Vegas. Did I miss the sell alert? What sell alert? Sell alert for what? XRP? Why is none of my equipment working? Oh. All right, I guess we don't get any music today. Today is one of those days, man. I was like, everything is going to go great. And then, crap. And not with the markets. I knew this was coming. But, geez. I'll tell you this, though. I'm expecting new all-time highs to come here very soon. Weeks away. We are weeks away. Mind you, I'm looking at the day chart here. Okay, so when I give you a prediction, it's weeks away. It's at least several days away. What happened with crypto today? Yeah, exactly. What happened to crypto, bro? People took profits. You didn't. That's what happened. That's what happened. Crypto has good days, has bad days. This is normal. H bar is breaking to the upside. Let's check it out. H bar. Oh, I need trading view. Trading view. I don't know why my trading view is all screwed up. I'm having to like figure out how to use everything again. My entire computer is just not working properly. Nothing is working properly. H bar looks like XRP. What are you talking about? I sure as hell took profits. Good for you, brother. H bar looks exactly the same as XRP. It's this like bull flag thing. If it's a bull flag at all, or it's just a, let's say it capitulates and it falls. September 11th. September 11th would be the bottom. Is that a bad omen? If it just continues breaking down, we should hit the bottom around September 11th. Big red candles. And that would make H bar kind of look like Twin Towers falling. Is it too early for that, for 9/11 jokes? I feel like it is. I feel like you shouldn't make 9/11 jokes ever. Am I wrong? Revolution says Osno. I'm not making 9/11 jokes, okay? I'm not doing it. We will never forget. We will never forget 9/11. But I would say 9/11 could potentially be when we hit the bottom here in the markets if things are going into capitulation. And then from there, that's when I think we take off. That's when I think alt season starts. Mid-September. Which 9/11 are you talking about? What they taught you? I'm in the media or the no one? I will tell you this. I think that 9/11 was an inside job. I don't believe that planes made them fall. I think planes crashed into them, but I don't think that it went down the way we were told. Not the place or time. All right. No more 9/11. Let's talk about something happy, okay? It's a red day in the market. Let's be happy. Let's touch grass. Let's be, oh my God, if you could see the chat. I can't even read the chat from fun. Oh my God, you guys are bad. Dev, I missed your opinion on Solana. What you think it could hit again? You know what? I didn't get to it. And we're going to have a guest on. So remind me at the end of the live and I will TA Solana. Okay? Revolution, if you're watching, remind me to TA Solana. How long is that? That's the end of the show. It's a couple hours or so. But we have a guest. We have a special guest coming up. So let's give a warm round of applause. Now you're going to remind me to TA Solana? No, you got to remind me at the end. You got to remind me at the end to TA Solana. I think our guest is here. Nope. Still waiting on our guest. All right. Oh, there he is. He's sideways, though. Let's see. I cannot hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, wait, you're muted, I think. Hold on. I think you're muted. Nope, you're not muted. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. IT guy. We need the IT guy. You are muted. Is the audio issue on my end or his end?
Wait, well, your mic's glowing.
Right.
I'm not seeing his mic glowing.
So when he talks, we're not hearing anything.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, Mike.
Oh,
Nope. Oh,
oh, I'm here. I'm seeing the movement.
yeah, I see it, but I don't hear it. Is it?
Okay.
We've been having audio issues all day today, so it could be us. So give me just a second.
Do you know? Okay.
Hold on. I'll put.
Oh wait, put it to speakers. There you go. There you go.
All right, I think we figured it out. Say something.
Yo, what's up, buddy? How are you?
There you
There
are.
we go.
It
We
was
got
me. It was me.
Perfect,
So
perfect.
our audio interface crashed today, and all the audio settings across the entire computer went to default. So we didn't do Discord. What is going on, brother?
Hey, you know what? Nothing much, man. It was a long day at work and everything, but now that we're home, everything's good. It's a long weekend here. I'm from Canada, so it's a long weekend here. I'm feeling good now. I've actually just trying to get back into. I kind of want to just get back into NFTs, memes, and everything. You know, I think people take that time off in the summer a little bit, um, and then September rolls around, and it's like, wait, what have I been missing all summer? Right? Like, you know, you get
Absolutely.
that sometimes.
I feel like
Yeah, but how are
the
you,
alt
man?
season is upon us, right?
Well, that's what we're hoping. Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
I hope so. Fingers crossed, bro. I think
Yeah. How are you? Yeah,
I'm
I want to
doing
ask, how are you?
I'm doing great. At the same time, nothing was working properly. But other than that, it's all figured out. We got it done in time, and here you are. So,
Amazing.
but yeah, it's a red day in the market. Nobody likes a red day, right? But for me, I'm grinning in ear to ear because I think we're 2 weeks away from alt season, and we're just gonna see the alts go crazy. Because you're a Cardano guy, right?
I am. That's what I love to be in. Yes, for sure. I have everything, but Cardano's my spot. Yeah.
What are your favorite out of the alts?
Man, so the one thing I will say is that I'm a guy that sticks to definitely either mainstream or like I'd say like top 10. So like I literally am having fun with the ones I was gonna say said by the American government or just Cardano, XRP. Solana's always fun to play on. And then I'll get into Avalanche and Algorand if we're considering any of those. And then yeah, I said Cardano. So that's usually where I'll play with. And then I have just Bitcoin, which obviously isn't an altcoin, but Bitcoin and Ethereum are always in the wallet. So I ponder off. But like when we actually talk about like DeFi, NFTs, and like breaking down like what is blockchain and building on the blockchain, Cardano is the only place I've really been. Everything else is like just holding and having a wallet and understanding how to hold stake or just use the actual blockchain itself for whatever one we're talking about.
First of all, for chat, who are you and what do you do?
I guess that's a great start. Well, I guess like yeah, who am I? So I'm Mike. I'm Mike D. People know me on X, Discord. I've been in the Cardano space for around 5 years. And in the Cardano space, I do a lot of, I would say, X spaces, talking, and project community management. So just building up communities. Now I've been a part of a couple teams on Cardano, so they've done some pretty good things on Cardano building wise. So there was this thing called Mutant NFTs that we're a part of. We built the first first staking system for Cardano, NFTs, meme coins, et cetera, et cetera. And then we also had like the first smart contract raffle system and just building stuff like that out. Nowadays, I'm part of this. We still own mutants, but I'm part of it's called Dirtbird NFTs, and then also Chad meme token. So if you've ever seen Charles the Chad um on
Yes.
Cardano, that's one of our big tokens. It was going really hot 8 months ago. Right now we're building and we're just kind of pushing it out and building out the content for it. But that's a great project. That's a great meme on Cardano. And then the Dirt Birds are an NFT. I'm actually wearing the shirt right now. I was with the I was with the team when we came out to Rare Evo, where I met you. And that is just an NFT project, been around for 4 years. I'll show you the site. Hopefully, we can go on it. Fully functional, like from mining to NFT, like being able to change the metadata on your NFTs. Um, and there's just so much more in the ecosystem. So there's a lot. I've been a part of a lot.
That's awesome, man. So are you like a dev or you're just like
No, I definitely don't do the coding. I definitely don't do the coding. I like the ideology of like where to bring NFTs, where we think we can go, what like, and also just like honestly, I get like hosting spaces and just building up the community wherever it is. That's where I go. And like usually it's not like I'm not like a pay for show. Like I find something I love and then I'll like deep dive into it and then help try to bring it up. It's not something where it's like you just see me with a new token being like, oh, you gotta check this out every 6 months. No, there's some things I've been in for the past like 4 or 5 years, and I just want to see NFTs or memes or this whole idea of like ownership of IP to the regular masses. And like, and you need people like us, me and you out here, kind of defining that and giving it its substance for the people who don't know about it, right? A dev
absolutely.
can only do so much. You can't really explain it to someone. I think
Yeah,
you
and
need the best of both worlds.
that's why I want to bring other people, especially those of us that were at Rare Evo. We're
Mhm.
there and we're learning about the new tech and what's being onboarded, how to actually use and utilize the utility of these different layers. And I think it's really great, you know, spreading the information to the community because most of us, at least the people that watch my show, they're they're traders, right? They're buying coins on the exchange. That's about the most that they know, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, like, I want to educate people on how to actually use and function in crypto, you know?
I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah, absolutely.
I
Um,
I use crypto like a bank. So I don't use a bank anymore.
Not at all. Not you don't even you got to have a bank account in
I
your
have
everyday
a
life.
bank account,
Yeah,
but it literally serves me no purpose. It's where
like
TikTok drops me my payments.
I was going to say, hey, that's awesome. I'm happy that you have that, and you know we are living in that type of world, and that's something I like to talk about and get into because we live in a world where we dedicate value to assets, and since we live in such a globalized world, there it seems that there's always someone that will exchange for those assets. And you can look at it as simple as like Pokemon back in the day and what some of those cards sell for and those IPs to just like even movies like how like I was actually talking about this a couple days ago like how in like the IP of like Harry Potter and like Lord of the Rings and some of these crazy things how all this can be incorporated and like how all these IPs are so important. um and people will do anything. They'll go on trips for it. They'll spend their money for it. They'll reenact like their favorite type of thing. And that's what an IP is. And then you look at something like a Visa card or what we're doing nowadays. Like and in your case, there's people that can nowadays have crypto in their back wallet. You can be staking, you can be trading, you can be doing whatever. Your life goes on your Visa, and then just kind of pay your Visa month to month, pay that bill off. And if you can have the proper exchanges, you can probably get away with not even using a fiat bank anymore. You could have all your actual passive income coming from staking, coming from DeFi tokens, the proper trades, and then pay off. You just have something like a Visa, and then that in itself, which I love to talk about, is a digital asset and currency because you can collect points. That whole Rare Evo trip, and like a lot of the things that you do, um, it's paid for in points. And is that not a little? It's not cryptocurrency, but is that not a form of a digital asset that we use every day and everyone takes benefits from it? So you
Absolutely.
can kind of see how it's developing and what could happen in the next couple of years as this technology is built out. Couple of years, I don't know, could be longer, but still.
As we were saying yesterday, I had Angel Finance on here.
I was watching,
Yeah,
yes.
and he was saying like we're already using digital currency because like credit
Mhm.
cards, right? That's digital currency. So this is a way for us to have control of that, right? See, like me, I've
Absolutely.
I've never had a credit card. I've never had a loan. I've everything I've ever bought, I bought cash, right? So I got into crypto kind of out of necessity because it was a way where I could take my assets and actually borrow against them if I needed to. I never actually really needed to, but it was an option for me. And I was like, okay, this is where I can actually get credit because I have no credit because I never used their system. So, which is pretty crazy because like I never really got into it, which is probably why I'm where I'm at today. Because I'm retired. I don't know if you know this. 37 years old, retired off crypto, retired in January. And
Good
I,
for you.
yeah,
Damn. Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing.
And you know, we were talking about like, you know, Algorand and stuff like RWAs, right? So I have a thesis. Tell me what you think about this. Would you rather hold a currency that is backed by fiat, right? So you're buying a digital asset, right? It's backed by fiat. Okay, whatever it is, Cardano, XRP, so on and so forth, Solana, right? It's backed by fiat. Now your fiat is losing value every single day. So I'm putting my fiat into this digital asset that will appreciate over time, right? And I believe that adoption is something that takes time. It's not something that's a switch that happens and gets flipped overnight. It's an onboarding of people and an onboarding of technology into society over time. So in the meantime, I think we've got at least 5-10 years minimum, right, before we see real adoption start happening. And even then, you're still going to be spending money. It's just going to be more like stable coins, right? So you're trading fiat for a digital asset that in turn you are returning back into fiat again in order to spend that money, right?
Mhm.
So that is a fiat backed asset. Now it does appreciate over time, but with inflation, the fiat is losing value. So the asset is appreciating, but because the inflation is so much, you're really actually just retaining value, right? You're not actually gaining value. This is why I'm so bullish on RWAs, is because now you're buying a currency with fiat and buying into something that's backed by a real world asset, which is appreciating in value over time. So therefore, over that period of time, you're not retaining value, you're growing value. That's my thesis of what's happening, right? And um, here's my question. So you understand that concept, right? Um, my question for you is: do you believe that they want you to live in the pod and eat the bugs, and they want these 15-minute cities? Do you believe in that sentiment? Have you heard of that?
Oh, I definitely heard of it. And so like you're getting into like an interesting area for me, especially when it comes to blockchain, because I actually kind of got into blockchain under the assumption of like I want to actually say like conspiracy theory and understanding that money's manipulated and this is the way and the next form of controlling money and almost
Absolutely.
like an yeah, and if you can kind of get into it and follow the money, you can end up having some of that gain. So do I believe that people want to like, there is a control mechanism? Well, absolutely. Money has always been a control mechanism, especially since like the Napoleonic Wars of the 1800s, where you see some of this stuff really coming. But you can even go back to Roman times and how they were controlling people through this. I love history, so a lot of my stuff always
Me
brings
too.
back to empires or cultures that have already lived through this. And I kind of like saying that we're creating a digital empire because that's what you are. There's limitless boundaries. There's limitless like culture. There isn't a skin color. There isn't a religion. It's whoever, wherever you are, that feels the need to be in this one blockchain. Usually, there's the one that people gravitate to. Now they do have multiple, but they gravitate mostly to one. Uh, and say maybe that's their home base. But going back to what you're saying is I do believe that there's a form of control going out. That's why you see so much centralization in the decentralized system right now. But at the same time, I do think it's an understanding of assets that can't. Okay, so you can always print. Well, it's all like it's almost the human condition of greed too. So you can always print more money, you can find more oil, you can stumble upon more gold. But there's a point where you cannot stumble upon more Bitcoin or certain finite um digital assets. So that's where I like that appreciating asset. And then also, I think you're right. Like I've been dealing with the banks for a long time. Now in Canada, we call it like an RRSP, but I think you would call it a 401k in the US. And when I look at my 401k compared to the probably same amount of money I put in Bitcoin and Cardano and blockchain, the amount of not only profits that I've made like in my crypto, but also retaining of wealth outperforms my 401k. And that's been in the past like 5 years that I've been in this actual investment. And that speaks, I think, volumes because that's supposed to be a safe way to invest your money. And they tell you that crypto is a not safe way. But you're seeing younger people investing in it and retaining their wealth, like you're talking about. So I get that I went all over the place there because the one
Yeah.
question was I don't really want to get too deep into it where it's like turns into like 50-minute cities and a conspiracy kind of talk, in my opinion, because I think we do go down that way. But we still have the ability to kind of fight for the decentralization. That's another reason why I like Cardano because of like the voting, the ethics, and what's kind of built into the back of it when they were talking about building it. Um it wasn't just about, I guess, a cryptocurrency blockchain. There was lots more built into it. I don't know if I really answered your question, but
Yeah, you did actually. So, to kind of circle back to that idea, and I
yep.
know we don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole, but it's for a purpose because I came up with
Only
this
15 minutes
thesis
in, maybe
today.
30 minutes in, maybe 45
Yeah,
minutes in.
I came up
Keep
with
going.
this idea today, and not so I want to share it with everyone, but also you, right? So that being said, that whole idea and sentiment, let's just assume that that's the direction they're headed. They want you to own
Mhm.
nothing and they want you to be happy, right? That's something they've been saying over and over. And I think what they mean is you will own a digital version of something, but you will be happy
Mhm.
because you will be making money off of it and you won't have to maintain it or deal with it. It'll just be something that you own, right?
Totally.
Tokenization of real world assets. I believe that that's what own nothing and be happy is. Real world asset tokenization, right? For me, I had this epiphany today and I was like, who is actually really making the money though? Is it the person that is buying the tokenized asset and living off of whatever returns from that? Or is it the person that owns the actual asset and is tokenizing it on the blockchain?
Is that my question? Okay. So no, because that's a really good question because that also goes into the question of not your keys, not your wallet. And if you have your blockchain in an exchange, do you really own it? Because I incur like you technically don't own it. And like
Right.
now you do have it in it to an extent, but like I'll give you an example recently with the Cardano Glacier airdrop. Like you have something like midnight coming around, and if you kept all your Cardano or any of those yeah, exactly. Perfect. You kept any of those assets in your exchange, you would have not gotten this airdrop. And
Right.
how many other times that happened with any other token? So that
I heard
that
you dropped your
shows
airdrop
you.
cash at
Sorry.
the tables in Vegas. I saw your post.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
But like, so that yeah, no, but that's the. I love it, man. Vegas is a good time. We should recap that for like 10 minutes at one point for
Oh, for
sure.
sure.
But yeah, but you have this. You have sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. But yeah, um,
Who really
hold
owns
on.
the asset is what
Thank
is
you.
what we're talking about.
Yeah, thank you. It's the person who technically is the one doing the tokenization. And that's why I was getting into exchanges, because the exchange owes your money. That's why you should always own your crypto, whether you get your airdrop, even your staking. They don't, you can't, like, you actually get your full amount of staking rather than the exchange will take a portion of it, or the fees. You get probably less fees using your own wallet, finding better dexes rather than using their technically in-house decks. Now, you even bring this to miners. When you have a miner in a project you're invested in, the person who bought the miners in your project technically doesn't even own those miners. It could be, they could be out in Dubai, and it could be under someone else who's managing them. So who's owning those miners? And that now comes to RWA. So the person who's making the RWAs is the one owning it. But I think the way blockchain does is it gives you, again, more access to owning that. So it would be like,
Right. And
I
then,
was sorry, you go.
don't
I
mean
was,
to
yeah,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off.
No, go ahead.
For instance, like Algorand, I was
Mhm.
watching the crypto summit, the first one we had like way back in like, what was it, January or March, sometime around there, right?
Mhm.
And I believe it was the founder of Algorand was up there, and she said, if you live in an apartment building and
Mhm.
you want solar power, but you can't have solar power because you don't have a roof. So where are you going to put solar power at? This is a way that you can own solar power off of a solar farm and still get the benefits of having solar without actually having solar on your home.
Totally. I totally can see that. Like, that's a really good explanation, and it is more so the what the RWA is explaining. I'm trying to say, so I was consider, so we have a project on Cardano, where it's the B. I love, sorry, I wasn't trying to, I get what she's saying with the Algorand, but there is a point to where I would have to say is that you would need, then, yeah, like, it would work, but you would need, that's when everything becomes mass adoption, because you would need everyone on the same platform, um to be able to then have a portion of the roof cut out, and then you would have to get into, is this your portion? But, like, I know, I love it because I love the thought and, like, in the in depth of it. But
Right. It's
like
still
we were explaining, so we
speculative.
have
It's
this
all still
yeah,
speculative.
it is. But we have this, so we have this honey farm, and we have bees and honey that's produced. Like, we own all the honey and everything, and it is a
Beehive.
tokenization of, yeah, bees and
Okay,
actual honey,
I
and
got
so I
it right
can
here,
bring the
chat.
bees. Yeah, there it is, the bees hive. So that's one of my friends, and
Scan the
like, this is
QR
an
code, guys.
and check out
Beehive.
the bees, save the bees hive. And this is an example of owning real life, real world assets, saving the bees. You're doing the favor by you're obviously, we need bees to populate and help out pollination of the world. You need, there's so many good natural health benefits of something like this, and it's a product that's absolutely um oh my god, what is the word? It's like, it's taken from us. Like, you go to the store and you're buying sugar water. You're not buying real honey,
Right.
right? So now all of a sudden, this real world asset of us owning all this honey, you're getting real honey shipped right to your door, or or actual products
And
made from this real honey.
because of the blockchain, where that honey
Yeah,
came from.
exactly.
The
You
farm
don't have to
and
play with the freaking bees and go put your hands in the hive, and that's where it comes to what she's saying. It's like, yeah, you now are all of a suddenly involved in a business that maybe you like, but maybe you aren't, like, you physically can't do it. Like, maybe you don't want to be surrounded by bees, but you want to help out the bees in some sort of
right.
way, or like, and like, that's another way RWAs can be looked at in a great way, like, and then maybe you're getting profit off it sometimes too. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I think it's great for the average everyday person, the peon in the world, to be able to own a piece of something, right? Without the liability of it.
It's
Because
so much more funner than owning, like, a stock. Sorry, I just, that's what it, like, sometimes you go in and people just trade in the stock, and this, you're actually owning maybe an IP, or like, something that you can really get involved in, rather than, oh yeah, my bank's doing it for me. I don't really know anything. I just know it's going up.
also
Does
it's
that make
liquid.
sense? You don't get, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Also the asset is liquid. So like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like bees. I want to help the bees. I want to, be able to get good honey, but also at the same time, I don't want to get stung. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to have to bottle it and put it on shelves and try to sell it, right? So
Yeah.
some people want to do that, some people don't. Me, I have a farm. I want a bee farm, right? So I'm going to be getting bees and all of that.
That's
And
awesome.
starting, I was actually talking with the guys. I was like, I got to get in on this because we're going to be having bees here because I'm planting a
Amazing.
whole orchard and I'm going to make wine and I got to have bees to make the fruit. So it's a whole process, right?
Amazing. Love it.
Yeah. So where I'm at with that whole, to kind of circle back to the original question is I love crypto. I love the idea of the tokenization and the decentralization of everything and keeping the power of our money in the hands of the people. That's the sentiment I like. And then there's the two sides of the coin is that they will probably gain centralization of it, gain control of it like they always do,
Fortunately.
and
Yeah.
we lose in the end. However, how do we shield ourselves from that? For me, what I have done is I've created a system where I invested into crypto early on, large amounts of money of it. I've round tripped my bags so many cycles that this time when things mooned, I was like, I'm out, I'm dropping these bags, and I moved them into defense stocks, right? And I live off the dividends from that. And then I take the dividends, I live off of what I need. Everything I own is paid off. I have no car payment, I have no house payment, my whole farm's paid off, everything's paid off, right? So I don't have any bills except for like electricity, Hulu, my phone. So I pay for those things that I have to pay for. You're going to have bills, right?
Yeah.
And then what I've done is I take that money and what's left, I'm circling it back into crypto to build up bags again and do it all over, right?
Makes
But
sense.
to circle back to the original question is would you rather, if you have the ability, obviously everyone doesn't have the ability, but if you have the ability, would you rather own the tokenization of a real world asset or own the real world asset and tokenize it? For me, I would rather own the asset because not only am I tokenizing it and people are able to make money and I'm bringing something beneficial to the space, I still own that asset. If something happens and I need to sell it, I have a tangible thing in my hand. It's like owning gold and owning a gold ring, right? They're two different things.
Great. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, I want to take my money now that I've taken out of crypto, trickle it back into crypto to grow new bags to buy more assets that I can then build up to one day tokenize. Right? Because I'm thinking long term into the future. I don't know. This is just something that clicked in my mind literally today in the middle of a live. I was talking to some people and stuff, and like it just clicked for me. And I was like, that's where the sentiment you'll own nothing and you'll be happy is. Yes, you'll be happy because you actually do own something and you're making money off of it and you're living off of that tokenization. But for me, I believe the ultra wealthy will be the ones that own everything. And so that's
sure.
why I want to be the one that owns the actual asset and tokenizes it. I don't know. It was just a little tangent I went on. And
So I no, I think I appreciate it, and I think you need people thinking about this because you need everything. You need a person for everything in the world for the world to go around, if that makes sense. Um, and there's two. There's first, and like there is people that have been here long enough and been in the game for a long enough time where they will be able to use the money, whether they're reinvesting or the money they had, to create and own their own businesses. And I think there also be tons of avenue because I still think we are very early for where we are. And I talk about that because it's like it's one thing to talk about blockchain and being like, oh, it's in the words of the government and we're talking about legalizing it. But then there's the whole it's like almost like the Microsofts and like the businesses that come like after the internet comes, it's okay, but then there's Microsoft and Google's and all these other things that create something huge, and that's what we're kind of a part of, and then there's going to be people that come into the game late and they're creating, let's say I'm using the, I guess the internet as an example, creating websites on Google. So then you have those kind of the late bloomers, but they're still creating wealth off of creating a good business model off these websites, right? So you see the same thing in RWAs and tokenization. You're going to have the people that have been here long enough that can take it out and physically buy property and turn it into it and maybe tokenize it, whether it's a hotel and they're tokenizing the rooms, or they're tokenizing the farm and you get like cheaper meat, or tokenize, or you actually create a great book and a great story and you have movies and you have comics and you have characters, right? And then there's going to be the people,
Goat
and this is
Tribe
where I'm at
making
right
the
now.
music, right? You know Goat Tribe, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's another one. But there's also going to be the people where I this is where I'm interested in this next bull, is where we're in it and we're building up our bags. But then there's people that are in the real world right now, and they're an older generation, and Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin card, and blockchain will go and be the new direction. And those people are going to be like, holy shit, well, I own 20 houses. I own like real estate all around the world, but I don't own any Bitcoin. And that's maybe where we could come in as some of these mid early investors and be like, why don't we trade exactly intrinsic value for like the value what Bitcoin is at right now, or my Cardano's at right now, and we just send it right to your wallet, and then you transfer me the deed, and then you turn that into an RWA, which I'm sure will happen because people will be left in the dust with the old school mentality, like with that old school wealth.
And I think
But
that's a
then there will be
great segue to
yeah,
NFTs.
it
That's
is, yeah.
that's
But there will there
the deeds of the properties, I believe, will be
yeah,
NFTs. And people say NFTs
absolutely.
are
That's what it
dead.
was always supposed to be.
Yeah, that everything will be an NFT deed of the property, and then you'll own a portion of the deed or the whole deed. And
Mhm. Totally.
yeah,
And I can see that's what's happening. We've already talked about, like, I have people doing the Beehive guy was actually talking to like the governments in Reno about doing stuff like that. But that is exactly it. And that's what's the problem with NFTs right now. And when I first got into NFTs, that's why I was telling you, is like my NFT was never about we have this cool IP. It's about we're building staking so you can use this for future. We're building the raffle. It was like an actual anyone can go on the site, and if you had anything on a smart contract, you yourself could make your own peer-to-peer raffle system. So that's stuff that people would actually need rather than just say, "Oh, this is a cool big piece of art. There's utility built behind it." To the point also where you're changing the metadata behind your NFTs so they can update, and they can, if two people are signing an agreement on a picture or on an art, that art or metadata behind art can change. So that would need to be work, like let's say you're buying, and like this could work in you have your favorite artist, and every time you get your CD and you get like their album art and you
solar
get their
power off.
music, and then maybe, oh, you get a little extra art on the side. Like there's so many ways NFTs can actually be utilized in the real world, but right now we're still stuck behind the wall of blockchain not being out to the real world, so people are using it in the wrong way, I still think. But NFTs really will be a big thing. Same with meme coins and tokens. Like, again, we just talked about your Visa is a meme token essentially. It's just about how much value you put towards that digital tokenization afterwards. Um, so yeah, I definitely think all those deeds, man, your passport, I think your passport would be, it could be an NFT.
Right?
Um, there's so many things. You know what? They'll probably change the name of NFT though, so it won't leave that like NFTs. We're not using NFTs. They'll probably make it something a little bit more palatable, so
Right.
people will be like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah."
Yeah, I also think like
But
concert tickets is
a
another,
perfect one.
you
Well,
know,
that's right. Like, absolutely. Like, imagine your favorite artist. You go to your favorite artist. You buy their albums. You go to their concerts. You go there, and then you can build a portfolio of like of what you've done, almost a memory bank, like a camera roll. It could have pictures there that you made, it maybe even pictures that you felt like actually gluing and pasting right onto the blockchain from your wallet, so it'll be there forever. Like, you can do all of that nowadays, and then on top of it, maybe, everyone who shows up gets random airdrops of that person's meme token, or maybe a free ticket to the next concert. All that can be done through blockchain so easily. All you need is people to have the wallet. We actually have the tech. All you need is people to have the wallets nowadays.
Yeah,
Like you saw it at Rare Evo. It was
yeah,
pretty easy.
yeah, it was actually crazy. I have so many wallets now because
Yeah,
everybody had a
like
wallet.
people just handed them out.
Yeah, they were just like, here's a wallet and here's some coins, and I'm just like, all right, whatever. And I started going around.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. I got some money out of this. I actually think I made money in Vegas instead of spending any money.
It's possible. It's definitely possible, bro. If you had, I think you had the VIP ticket and stuff like that. Like when you go out to those events, people even ask me in my real world, they're like, you go to Vegas a lot, and like usually when you go to Vegas, it's for like 2 or 3 days. You were there for like 6 days, and I was like, well, it's very beneficial when you're there for an event. You're
Right.
meeting like people all around the world, so everyone's a new conversation. It's not like I don't need to spend money. I can just go to the bar and go talk to someone. I can
Yeah,
just go to the event and go talk crypto.
bro, we bonded
But
over
then
chapstick. Right? Remember?
is that what we bought
Yeah,
over?
dude.
Oh yeah,
Because
we
remember,
did.
I was
That's
like, oh
right. I
yeah,
was
the
like,
chapstick, and you're like, oh yeah, I got mine right here. I was like, yeah, I have the Bees Hive one, and you're like, oh, I'm with those guys and stuff, and then we started like hanging out and stuff. Dude, we
yo,
partied
that's
so
hilarious.
hard.
But I was like, this is the essentials of Vegas: chapstick and water,
Yeah,
because that's what you need.
100%. Dude, I had so
And
much
then,
fun that night.
oh, buddy, because then I was thinking like if that was all in the same night, because I think I met you on the floor a couple days throughout the event, but one night it was like your party. We were at the Saturday night club. It was Zook. I don't remember the actual DJ. I'm not the biggest dubstep guy, but
Aluminum
obviously I
or
had a great time.
Illumi.
So we're partying, we're having fun. You have a normal conversation. Then all of a sudden you blink and you're looking around and it's like, oh, it's 2 a.m. now. We're all fucking wasted. Everyone's shirts are a little unbuttoned, a little
Yeah,
sloppy, and it's a whole different version of yourself, right? Everyone's just going crazy.
for real.
And that's what we were.
Dude, I had so much fun. And not even just at the party, like going to like Top Golf. Were you at Top Golf?
Yeah, I did. I went to Top Golf. Great time. Great time.
Dude, I was like had the record for the longest drive for most of the
Did
day.
you?
Yeah.
Did you? Fuck, I did not know that. So, are you an actual golfer, or did you just crack it out of the stadium?
Well, I played in high school,
Okay.
and I have a driving range out here on the farm.
Well,
So
that's helpful.
yeah, and so like
That's
I have a
helpful.
golf cart, so like I go out and I have like a patch of fake grass, and I got like 10,000 golf balls, right? And I'm just hitting them like crazy, and then I'll send the kids out with a bucket to go collect all the golf balls and bring them
That's
back.
amazing. What a way! What a way to use them. I like it.
Yeah, so I
That's
actually had
that's
the
fantastic.
highest score for most of the day too. I think out of the entire day I came in fifth, and I held
Wow.
fifth.
Good for
I
you.
held first and second place for most of the day. I
Buddy,
was
I didn't
killing
even
it.
know. Well, you know what? I was definitely not a competition because I couldn't even hit it past like the first sandbank. I play basketball and do some other stuff. I'm not the best golfer, but first of all, good for you. And that event was
Thank you.
fantastic. The fact that they rented out the whole floor of Top Golf for us, drinks, alcohol. Again, the people that were there, anyone in Cardano, Midnight, Charles himself was easily accessible. How could you not? And it's like if you didn't want to golf, you go swimming at the pools. Like, what more could you ask for in a day, right? Like
Right.
that was a fantastic day too.
Yeah, we had a good time, and I actually learned so much about the technology because it was
Of Cardano itself,
because it
or
was the dev and governance day, right? So I learned
yep,
so
yep,
much about how the governance is working and how they're changing to make it so people can't get too many votes by having more wallets
yep.
and things like that. And I was like, wow, like there are some really big changes coming to Cardano that it just made me so bullish on it because it was on my radar because it's a blue chip, right? But it wasn't really one of my bags. Now it's like, oh, Cardano is my bag, bro. Like, and finding out that Bitcoin is coming to Cardano with layer 2 technology, like I used to say this all the time, and I can admit when I'm wrong, chat. Okay, I was wrong. Bitcoin is not the most expensive meme coin. All right. It has utility and it has speed. And that's because of Cardano. And it seems like, because I was talking with Angel about this yesterday, is it seems like Bitcoin was created to work with Cardano, or Cardano was created
or
to
was
work with Bitcoin.
Cardano created to work with Bitcoin?
Yeah,
Because when you actually like look at Charles and his history of Charles Hoskinson, like he's gotten some interesting rap, whether it's good or bad. But like I always say, is a good like I always like there's always lead. Everyone always has something to say about a leader. I look at like Steve Jobs as created a legend in the name and everything he's done, and created like something that everyone uses to this day, not created but put in the hands of everyone to this day. But if you go look at it, it wasn't the smoothest path running, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean people, when they're creating these things, there's a lot that they're going through, in their mind, physically, and throughout the world, right? And when he was creating this, he was, and this is something that I fell in love with, which is very interesting, is that he was on the teams for creating Bitcoin, and he was there when it was first created, and then moving to Ethereum and understanding how Ethereum wasn't in going in the proper direction to create Cardano, which
right,
was like the third layer or the third tier. Some could look at that too, where it's like, well, you're hopping at all these blockchains, but you also could look at it too as like he's had that intrinsic knowledge of Bitcoin from the beginning. And is it a surprise that Cardano now all of a sudden works well with Bitcoin compared to so many others? And they say it's like the rabbit versus the hare. So many people were worried about the marketing, the tokenomics, everything that's going involved with. They always said that Cardano was about two things. Like it's about like that kind of autonomy of like your voting and like owning everything and be able to vote or trade your money. Obviously, everyone can trade money in blockchain, but there was that added part to there was a vote behind, or a moral standard behind your blockchain, and then also the easily acceptability of like the UTXO models took up, and that was something that's always talked about, and like people didn't believe it would happen or whatever it was. But now you have Lace Wallet doing it, and the way they talk about it. And so I wrote actually a post about this like last year. If you go to my post, I'm not going to ask you to read the post, but you can. It's pinned to the top of my thing, on my X profile. But it was just about like how you can, like, you Bitcoin was always there, and it's a great gold standard. But if you look at Bitcoin, there is still I mean, sorry, if you look at gold, there's still silver. There's still other precious metals. If you look at the USD dollar, USD is wanted everywhere around the world. You can go to Mexico or China, and they'd rather have the USD dollar. But it doesn't mean they don't have their own currency still. So
exactly,
why would that mean that we wouldn't have another blockchain underlying Bitcoin, even if it is the gold?
right.
You would still need some.
I
Sorry,
think
yeah.
no, I cut you off, so my
No, it's
apologies.
okay, man.
But I think that each of these different blockchains will serve a different purpose because they solve
Absolutely.
different problems, and it's an
Yep.
ecosystem. So we have to learn to not be so divided and realize that we're all crypto bros here, and your project is probably going to do well, and if it doesn't, it's probably just going to be bought out by someone else that's bigger, and you're still going to make money, right? We're all, because we're here, we're probably going to win, right?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're not taking too many shots in the dark. Like there is ways that there
Well,
is a lot of
absolutely.
money to be made, so there is a lot of false actors out there, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but that I just mean like there's a casino for every blockchain. So if
Yeah.
you're going to play the casino, with your Bitcoin, maybe you won't win all the time. But no, I get what you're saying. I just sometimes I'm always wary
Yeah, I mean,
because
and that's more
you
like
buy
the
a little
meme
too many.
coin route of it, right? Like the meme coins.
Yeah, you buy a little too many meme coins.
Yeah. And what's crazy is the meme coins are doing so well this cycle
Yeah.
that it's
Well, I think and meme coins are always doing well because so there's two things to that. Actually, there are a couple things I can say that is first is that a lot of people want like it's easier sometimes when you're in here, like in the thing, to make money within the ecosystem than to keep putting your own money in, right? So now people are there, they can strong arm the system. But the meta is these tokens, first of all, because you always see it like in NFTs, you had the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and those things were going crazy. So all of a
right.
sudden, NFTs are hot. Now you have stuff like Pengu and other things that are really, really hot. So now meme coins are that meta. And also, it's just the easy liquidity of memes. It takes a second to sell an NFT. It takes it takes a minute to sell an NFT. It takes a second to sell a meme token, even if it is going down.
Right.
And then the final really thing of that too is and something I talk about because again I'm in these NFT projects and we run a couple is I don't think people even in crypto bros don't understand NFTs yet. For everyone, it's just a way to make a quick buck and sell.
Yep.
It only a few people are really working on the technology to really make it where every day you're using it. And usually those people are kind of getting left in the dust because no one's funding them.
Right.
Which is that's the crux we're in right now, where where my heart is, where it's like I just want to keep creating the next um tech, but sometimes that doesn't make the money unless yeah, because people are always busy about hype a lot of times. So
Well, that's why
anyway, a little tangent, but
I'm still bullish on Polygon. It's a sleeping
okay,
giant
yeah.
in my opinion because that's the NFT bubble, right? At least in my opinion. And the tech that they're creating for NFTs is that real world use case that we were talking about, the deeds and the tickets and all these different things. So I'm just like, okay, everyone else thinks that NFTs are dead. I understand its value, right? And why
Mhm,
it's
yeah.
value. Therefore,
Mhm.
while you're all over here in meme coin land, I'm I'm over here looking to at least, if not accumulate the NFTs, accumulate the native tokens for the blockchains
Ecosystem.
that are going to facilitate that technology. Because I
Absolutely.
do not believe that memes are dead or NFTs are dead. I believe they are asleep. And when that revival happens, you're going to see the tired apes and the whales and
Yep.
the goats and all those different projects take off again. And so I have
I couldn't agree
an
more.
NFT graveyard. I've minted NFTs. They're sitting in my wallet, and I'm just waiting
Yeah.
because I mean I had NFTs that were worth like $175,000 each, and I had
Mhm.
several of them, and I didn't sell.
What chain? On Paul, like on Ethereum then?
Ethereum, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah, and so I didn't sell, and
No, yeah.
I regret
No
it, but
judge.
at the same time, I'm like, okay, I made money in crypto. I'm fine with it, but I'm not gonna just dump them, because for me, it's nostalgia. It's like
Mhm.
keeping my Nintendo, you know?
Which, yeah, which some of us do, right? Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
So
that's why the goat tribe, they airdropped me some goats and some
that's awesome.
snack and grass and stuff, right? And I appreciate those guys so much. But yeah, like I'll never sell my goats. Are you freaking kidding me? They made a
Love it.
goat with a twisty mustache just for me. like,
I
like
love it. I love it.
how could I ever sell it?
I love it. We're gonna have to send you a derp, and I think that's so. Like I personally like that's the one problem with NFTs where it's like maybe I like meme coins a little bit better. I don't feel as guilty. Like it's not as guilty, but you do grow attached to your NFTs. Like you
Yeah,
do grow attached. And even when they're high, whether you think they're going to go higher or you just love it. For sure, I've been in the rounds where I've had NFT. Like every year, I make a good play and my wallet at least goes to like in NFTs to like over like 100K in the assets. And I've watched them go up and down a couple years. And they're different projects, not the same projects you would think you would learn. Um, but and I always know there's like an itch in me where it's like, oh, you could sell a couple right now. But then I'm looking, I'm like, I'm such a like I don't sweep like floors in NFTs where it's like, oh, just grab the cheapest 10. Like everything is like, oh no, that's specific to me. That's something I like. And all of a sudden you're going through the wallet when it's through the roof, and you're just like, I don't want to sell any of this. This is crazy. This is
right.
like I remember hand picking this NFT and buying it. Like, So
Exactly.
that's
It's a
yeah.
collectible to me right now.
It is. It
I
is.
and I
Yeah.
think a lot of those like we were talking about like the goats and stuff, right? That's what they'll be. They'll be collectibles. I'm really excited for the goats because they're going to give them utility. So they're going to make it so that when you own that goat, you have the use for the music. Like they said, as long as I hold that
Yeah.
goat, I can use their music on my live stream.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
Why
love that.
why wouldn't I? It's literally goats and crypto. That's what my whole show is like. I'm like,
Sometimes, right? You get the, and, but that's like, there's a couple things you're saying there. First of all, IP. Like, I think when people are creating stuff, and I've seen this happen a lot, just because you have a good idea and you can make a meme, like anyone can make a meme a good idea, but if you really pick something that's like already like goat, like what is a goat? Greatest of all time? Everyone uses a goat. Like there's so many ways you can use a goat, so someone's going to fall into it. I also, that's why I love the Chad, like the meme coin Chad that we were creating, because it was actually about Charles the Chad. So Charles is getting a bunch of slack last year about people saying he ruined Cardano, but then we created it as he was the one that was actually having meetings with Trump and in the lawmakers pushing Bitcoin, not even Cardano, pushing Bitcoin. This was back in November. So when you dropped it, it was that whole like positive aspect of like, no, when you're a chat, it's actually becoming the best version of yourself you can be. It has nothing to do with about being like the strong, like ladies man. It's actually about being the best man you can be, bringing back that masculinity. And something I loved about it, and you can take that so much further. Um, and you can do that with these memes and these NFTs, and that's what it is. Like thinking about a bigger picture sometimes, like that people actually want to get involved in.
I got to
Um,
link you up with Cosmic Crypto. He's a
okay, yeah,
creator on TikTok, and
yeah.
he has a character named Chad that
Oh,
it
I'd love to see
is
this. Yeah,
basically him in a wig, and he's like this crypto bro thing that is like his alter ego. It's hilarious. He's a comedian, like, but
yeah. I
I
gotta
gotta get
check
you
it out.
hooked up with him, man, and maybe
Definitely.
get you on his show because he's the whole Chad character. I think is just hilarious.
I love it. I want to check it out. Oh, I almost dropped my camera. One thing I do, because I did kind of, I will just talk about the NFTs for a second. So,
Yeah,
like, when you go and you look at like something we've created with Derps, I think you're right about like what Goats is doing and and what you're talking about there. But yeah, like when you look at something like the Derps NFT, so they've been around for a while. They have multiple collections, and there's like the birds, there's the Preds, and there's almost like there's the apes, and they're like these baby forms. Now, the whole point is that when you own these NFTs, you're constantly earning like their in-game token. You're constantly earning mining rewards through mining. So you're actually getting ADA put right back into your account monthly. So you're getting crypto back. And then on top of it, you can play games. So you can play raffle games, like kind of coin flip games for their DD, and then the actual NFT itself is completely customizable. So you all these tokens you're earning in the ecosystem, you can then go trade and buy new traits and actually change that metadata, like I was talking about before. So easily put a new mustache on your derp if you want it, and
yeah.
and like and so these are the things I truly think is that as mass adoption comes, people will be like, well, this is what we want. And you go, so I'm like a big like I play Dota. If you ever heard of Dota or like League of Legends or something like that, or you
I used to
Fortnite,
work
right?
on League of Legends.
Okay, there you
I,
go. So you
I did
skins,
the
right?
champions. I did the audio for the championship at Crypto
Oh,
Arena.
fucking amazing, bro. That's awesome. I love that. I used to work on like Dota way back when it was Warcraft 3 on those like customizable editor maps. And then I remember when we used to play and build these maps on like Warcraft 3 customizable. And then later, 50, and this actually goes into this blockchain. We're talking about 15 years later down the road, Valve buys this game and it's turned into a multi-million dollar, everyone around the world plays this game. It was bought. And I could see this happening in crypto where it's not going to be someone change like an NFT project changes the whole entire industry. It's like you have a really good IP and really good tech, and there's going to be a game or Google or someone's going to come in and be like, we're really interested in what you have here. And you mentioned this at the beginning of the episode. That's it. Like we're gonna buy it out. And
Right.
that's when I can see a proper NFT project being hitting ultimate success. That would be the dream of an NFT project, and I think that's what people should strive towards. Not just creating an NFT and you sold someone and you sold it out. No, it's actually like looking to build a business that someone might actually buy out and create into a real world asset or a game or something like that down the line.
Um, are you a
Sometimes
gamer?
greed is too much into it. Yeah, I love gaming. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a gamer too. My IT guy, he's a gamer, and what I want to know is what is your take on putting games onto the blockchain and this new gaming technology that's coming out? We saw Ascent Rivals at Rare
Okay.
Evo.
Yeah.
Um,
So
what do you think as a gamer? Like,
yeah.
and let me kind of give you my little understanding of it. Is I like the idea that I can own my skins and
Mhm.
sell them, trade them, do things
Yep.
like that. Actually have ownership of that. But my concern is what direction does this take gaming? Because gaming's kind of been in a lull, right? It's very centralized right now, and look at like what's happened with GTA 6. Like it's still not out yet. Um,
Mhm.
what direction do you think happens with gaming and crypto and blockchain technology? And is it in a net positive or is it a negative?
Well, I think I'm going to have a really extreme view on this. Okay, so first of all, what? Because this isn't just gaming now. This actually, for me, moved into entertainment. I think our world, first of all, has shitty entertainment right now. Like it's not as creative. It's all about making money, and that model of capitalism has kind of ruined the entertainment industry. And where do we see that in subscription modeling? And the reason why I bring that up is like most of our games now are subscription modeling nowadays too, where it's you either get it for free or it's a game that you have to buy yearly. Technically, they're not. It's not a subscription, but it is. You're buying the new one every year. And then you go to something like Netflix or Amazon, where all these are subscriptions. And then you finally get the show you want, and it's usually kind of crappy. The ending, like you put in all this time, and you're like, well, the ending was kind of a letdown. It feels like the writers weren't trying. Same things with games. It's like, oh, the game was there, you're there, and then it's like, oh, now I'm just stuck in the loop. And then you kind of finish the game, and it's like, were the writers even trying? So I think that is a fundamental problem in our whole entertainment industry. But will blockchain solve that? Possibly, because if someone's creative, they can now have ownership of their work rather than it being taken over and being whitewashed by like a corporation, like just Sony putting their name over it and you not understanding the creative work behind it. But now going into gaming, first of all, I don't think games should be on blockchain right now. It just slows down the game, and then it also limits you to one blockchain. We're way too small for that right now. You would need a game that is accessible, like whether it's on your own servers or it's on a Web 2 server, whatever it is, and it has the accessibility of wallets to be built into it. And the way that that would work is that, and you still have your skins. You would have an in-game currency or wallet that you. It's almost like I upload 200 USD into this wallet, and then now that's my in-game wallet, and I'm spending from there. And whether it's crypto or not, I'm not sure. Now, the way I would look at it in a game is almost like how your visa system works right now. So if I'm the Canadian, I come to a visa system and I pay in America, it's going to be like, do you want to pay USD right now, Canadian dollar now, or Canadian dollar at the end of the month, and Visa will pay it at its exchange rate. So you can have this choice. So why wouldn't games have that? Where it's like you pop up, what wallet do you want? Well, we have these compatible wallets, and you can trade these in-game currencies. You can either trade Ethereum, Cardano, Bitcoin. Maybe they're wrapped in the game, so you can actually trade them all and then trade them out later. But that's how I kind of see it. You'd have like a personal wallet, and you would have to upload your actual USD value, or maybe even your crypto, and it just stays there. But then it's in the game, so your wallet's not in the game, right? That's way too far. And then you can play the game and hopefully maybe buy some skins. Maybe you tip people. Maybe you buy. That's how you buy another, like buying characters. How many of us bought like a level 25 WoW account or something like that, or a
Right?
completely done account because you want to see how it's made, and then people can trade that back and forth just like you would see on Steam Marketplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would pretty much be like a Steam Marketplace, right?
I think it's a net positive, but I'm afraid that just like how Bitcoin is becoming centralized when it was intended to be decentralized, I think we see something like Ready Player One with IOI.
So that was my yeah.
Yeah.
That was my next jump in. I couldn't agree more. Or like even what's better is Ready Player One's good, but do you remember the Gerard Butler movie Gamer?
Gamer. I think so. Refresh
Can
me.
you go back and watch that one, or maybe watch a preview if you want? Not saying you have to. Oh shit, I need
I'll watch it.
phones at 15%. One sec. Make sure that's charged up. Okay. Yeah, and it's like it's a really good one. I think Ready Player One's a great example, but you're right. Like I think that's how the gaming system works. But that's why I kind of started where I was before, because that's like 10 years. And like maybe 10 years, but I also look at it as like you could mix Ready Player One with like Westworlds very, very easy.
Right.
Where you're joining Westworlds, but not your real body, and you're coming to a train. You're going to this cowboy or this history, or you're going to space, but you're uploading your character into the system.
Like
And that's how I think gaming.
like the
Sorry.
freaking Neuralink.
Yeah. Well, the Neuralink will come. We talked like again. Charles has talked about building that, like out with Quantum Hosky. It's a game they're trying to create, and they're actually trying to build it on Cardano. But no, I do think that. I think there will be a point where you kind of load into your game like. See, that's the thing. It's like I can't wait for Ready Player One. They're creating the technology where you have the Google glasses. Disney has created the platform where you can actually run on and walk on. You can actually run if you've seen the Disney creation of like
Yeah.
the walking platform for the game. Um, but I still think it would be like more so loading onto a Red
Red
Dead
Dead.
Redemption or
Yeah.
something like that, or a GTA. But when you can actually immerse yourself into this, I think about it all the time too. And then also, I was talking about this in games where it's like, wait till okay. So when an AIs can study people now, right? So you can actually have AI characters in your game now as a character, but instead of having a yes or no question, because you'd have to code it in, you could actually have unlimited ends to your games where you go and there's certain AIs that actually have their own game built within the game. And depending
Right.
on how you interact with that AI, it's going to do something, but it's going to do it off its own ability rather than just a Fable game where it's like you either become good or evil. Now you
Right.
can go down multiple paths, and you can get lost in your path of the game where you might even have to restart like a new one because you went down too much of the wrong path. And that's where I
Everyone's
see
game
gaming
is
good.
unique to their experience, kind of
Yeah,
idea.
because you would be
That's
because you're
amazing.
actually yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No. That's all. That keep going. I'm
No,
loving this,
oh,
man.
no, because I ramble. I could
I
go and
no,
go and
dude.
go,
I
but yeah,
love
I
the
picture
rabbit holes. I love it.
oh,
Um,
so like I picture. I love history, right? So like, and I picture like I created this game. I probably should be saying this online because I want to actually create this. But you create this game, and it's like you immerse yourself in Rome, and it's like you're walking around and you're just like a peasant and you're working your way up, and you have to actually interact. Like maybe one day you have to join the army, or you have to do this, you have to interact, build up this character, but then you could go talk to a certain AI and go down the wrong path with this AI because you're in this immersive world. It's really funny because did you ever hear of the game Schedule One? Do you remember when Schedule One got crazy
no.
on
T-
Steam?
t-
So Schedule
See,
One is like
I'm
this
not a
game where it's like you get
huge
dropped
gamer.
off.
I'm not a huge
So
gamer. I
Schedule
don't
One
have
was the
time
biggest
anymore.
game when
I
it came
was
out.
when I was younger.
It, so Schedule One is about this game where you get dropped off into the city, and you're kind of like the drug dealer in the city. Like this is where it gets a little R-rated, and you grow weeds, you do this, and then you become like the drug dealer and you sell around. But you actually like buy it's GTA, but you're like a businessman in the city. And all I could think about was like, okay, this isn't for everyone, but this game can be modeled into something so much more where you're dropped into this town, and instead of maybe building and mining for drugs, you're mining for gold, and then you're creating jewelry and you're selling the jewelry around. And how much can that create it into this like game where you have a crypto wallet, you get dropped off into this world, and you go talk to like these AIs, and they send you on these missions, and you yourself, like the coder doesn't even know you're going. The coder or the person creating the game is going to be like, wow, that's like you went down an interesting path. Like it's just so I think we will really see a new way, an immersive way of gaming and entertainment,
And
not just sitting and watching TV, actually immersing yourself in it.
I think that's the gateway into the live in the pod and eat the bugs. It'll be the Matrix, right?
Scary, yeah, scary. Well, that's where it is, and it's like the best of both worlds. Who do you want to be? And like, there's a part of me where, like, I think you have the life where I would live. Like, I don't think if I could retire off of this, I think I would try to move up north or get away from the main cities, build a farm. Like, actually, I do want to learn how to like, more so grow my own product, maybe actually raise chicken and like live that life. So if there is ever a digital revolution, I can still say, no, I know how to do all that real world stuff, and I do have that escape. Um, yeah, I don't know if I could ever completely
Well,
go
think about
down.
it.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
what was the guy's name in the Matrix? He's like, um, I know this steak isn't real, but I can taste it, and it feels real to me, so therefore it is real.
Oh my god. Well, that's a great. First of all, I don't know who said it. I don't know if it's Neo or
I think it
someone,
was
but
like
that
Sykes or
I love that.
something.
Okay, okay, there it is. Yeah, I don't know all the names of the Matrix, but that's the truth. That's reality. It is the scary part because like there's so many movies, there's so many explanations of this where it's like you can get into it. Yeah, man, there's even like the one where it's like I think it's called Memories, and it's like imagine you could relive your memories, and then about how like hard that would be for people because if you had the best moment of your life or like a loved one or something like this and they're gone now, people will just keep replaying that memory, keep replaying that dopamine,
Right.
and they don't live their real life anymore. But that gets into the fundamental question of what is life. Um, yeah, like yeah, if you're playing in a game and you're just uploaded the whole time, are you really living? Um, it's an interesting
What
concept.
if
It's an
that's
interesting
what we're
concept.
at right now? What if we're already plugged
Like we're
in
already in a game.
and we're playing on hard mode right now?
So I love that concept. I love that concept. I actually now there are also so this is this is a belief standpoint where it's like I'd love to like dabble and I love to like entertain that thought, but I do truly think we live in like obviously a reality. But is our reality much so controlled? I would believe so. It's like it's the idea. I think it's called Plato's cave. And Plato. Wait, one second.
The allegory of the cave.
Yeah. So Plato's cave, where it's just like if you put a man in a cave his whole entire life and they see the shadows and someone has like a fire on the back and they create the shadows, they'll start to believe that the shadows are real because that's all they see and like that
Right.
is reality.
It's the
and
only
and it's
reality they
interesting
know,
because yeah,
right?
it's the only reality they know. And that's what's interesting about it is that people knew this 380 BCE. So over 25,000 years ago, people knew that. And now people are trying to still figure out if they, what kind of gender they are, or something
Yeah.
like that. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but I just mean it's funny how ideology and what people know and how humans, um, man, nothing news under the sun. Everyone knows kind of goes to blockchain too and like this transition of wealth there will always be money or a substance that controls people through that and like we're moving you had gold silver you had bonds and stuff like well first it was food then gold and silver bonds and stuff and now we trade USD dollars and the next one most likely be cryptocurrencies and you can see this like all around the world whether it's our money or ideology NFTs and art how we treat it there's always someone creating these things. It's just we'll never get away from it. So you
What
got to like embrace it.
I got a question for you. What do you
Yeah.
think today? Obviously, like we
Mm,
have dollars, right? That's our
yeah.
currency, but that dollar represents something. What do
Yeah.
you believe is the true currency, the true value? What is it that is actually valuable?
So like so like the US well like the true portion of the currency like that's actually valuable is almost like fake it. I'm trying to think of the word but it's like fake it till you make it is the value. It's we put the value. It's almost like the USD dollar value is almost as manipulated as an NFT project where it's like it has as much value as its top holders not selling off of its assets and
Right.
flooring it and that's the idea I think of our money right now we sit on a very like we sit every day where we could be close to bankrupting the westernized world I don't say globalized world because I think people live with different mentality outside the Western world than they would survive. I think people in the Western world would break down a bit more. But yeah, what is our value? It's what we give to it. But the problem is like it's perceived at such a high value, but it could collapse at any time.
right?
Um,
Because like we
and
see
it's
gold is valuable, right? You see gold
yeah.
as something valuable, and we've given it value.
Well,
Obviously,
I
it
don't.
has
Yeah.
utility, right? We use gold for electronics, it's in our phone, but it's a finite amount that we actually need because now we have new technology where we can use copper coated in plastic to get the same result. It's
Yeah.
not
Or even better
exactly the
result.
same, but it's similar. And so, is gold really valuable? Where what gave gold its
No.
value? Its
Okay.
scarcity,
So
right? And
yeah.
like that's where Bitcoin comes in, right? Bitcoin is
Mhm.
scarce, okay? And what is its actual value? Well, now it actually has value because it has utility through Cardano, right? So
Mhm.
it is valuable. But for me, I look at gold and I'm like, is gold really valuable? Because I'm looking at the gold chart and it's just freaking going up, right? It's the highest we've ever seen in history. And I'm like, I think that gold is dead technology because it's
Yeah, I would agree.
overmined. The price of it is manipulated, right? They hoard large amounts supplies of it that in order to keep the price of gold up, right?
Mhm.
And gold's real utility obviously in phones and stuff, right? And electronics. But its original utility was because of its scarcity and its ease to press into coins. But we don't
Mhm.
press coins anymore. We're moving into a digital currency. So what is the actual need of gold anymore? Right? There is no need. So I'm like, what is the true currency in life? What is actually valuable? And I think it's obviously
Okay.
our time, right? Our time.
Yep.
But
And
what
yeah.
what what are we what is the store of value that we're storing up into gold, into Bitcoin, into cash, into digital assets? What is the true thing? It's labor. Labor is the true currency. It's a way to take our time and our effort and put it into something that is now this right here is worth my time and my effort,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just I forget where I was going with that. My ADHD
No,
took
that's
over.
what sometimes we're just chatting. No,
Yeah,
sometimes we're chatting. And no, I think you're correct. And then we're trying to figure. So the value behind it. So like, I definitely think. Okay, so yeah, like the value behind gold, I think is definitely, and all of it, oil, like because gold kind of went away when we found oil, and oil was going through, and we use oil for everything. Now, both things are still back towards these things, but we know we can find more of these natural resources. Even though it's hard, we know we can. Oil's like a really big one where they said we couldn't find as much oil, but it's actually fucking everywhere.
everywhere.
Like
Yeah,
everywhere.
it's just like
And
gold and
that is
diamonds. You know,
well, and
it's market manipulation to make it scarce. They hold the supply back and leak it out
yeah,
into the market so that way it retains its value. Because we've been
it's
mining
and
gold for
diamonds are
thousands of
yeah.
years, right?
And diamonds are a great example.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they do that for sure. Now, gold, at least you're like, gold's interesting because they've been doing it for a really, really long time. I don't know, there's some things where it's like it's also like an electricity conductor. So like, is it grounding you? Did people used to wear gold and whatnot more so for spirituality and like um oh my god, what would it be called when you base yourself to the ground through electricity?
grounding.
Like people are more natural. So we don't know if our precious metals and a lot of that had something to do with that's why people were wearing them more than just the shininess of it.
Well, look at
But
China. China was the one that was like, "Oh, you're all going to use gold. We're going to use silver," because silver actually has more use case than gold. But because we all decide that gold is more valuable, silver is less valuable. But silver
mhm,
is, they use it in medicine. They use it in, it has so many different technologies that it can be used for. So its utility is actually more valuable than gold is.
I could probably agree with that. And again, is oil not more has more utility than both of those? Absolutely, it does. And it's another one that's backed by US dollars and whatnot. So when you come to like blockchain and like what is the value of blockchain, I think it's like uncorruptible data, like, and not like just uncorruptible data. Now you can build blockchains that have corruptible data, for example Solana, like, and that was the whole FTX crash, Terra Lunar and stuff like that. um these are blockchains that still can have that negative value, but when they're built, I think, correctly, it's also like information is king. Information is king. um and I think like that is like the new idea of it all. Like we can find things that we can touch with our hands everywhere, but even like land, like we bought up all the land, we've dug up all the mines. Like it's almost like the greed to own digital assets too.
Yeah.
We've gone around, all the land is bought up in the world. What can we buy up in the nether now? Like,
Just
they
wait.
bought airspace, they bought
Yeah.
everything.
Wait till they tokenize air and water.
That's what I'm thinking about right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, right. Like these
I
things
will
are
be
possible.
so on
It's scary.
tokenization of water, dude. Water, I think, is one of the most valuable resources on the planet. That and
Well, it is
air,
the most
obviously.
value.
Yeah. Because you can't go more than a few minutes without air. You can't go more than a few days without water, and you can't go more than a few months without food. Right? So those
No,
are
for sure.
the three most valuable things in the world. So if they find a way to tokenize those things, I'm going to be so bullish on that. Like, that's everything, especially
Well,
water.
it's a little scary because if you have Bill Gates or Nestle tokenizing water, we're screwed. But you're right.
Well, that's the future, man. Because
Yeah.
like, look at,
No, no.
we're in California here. So
Mhm.
California has a water crisis. We had a huge
Yep.
problem with the fires out here. There was no
Yep.
water in the fire hydrants to put out the fires.
Wow.
So like
Yeah.
there's a huge water rights battle thing going on. And so like if you own water, like you have something very valuable. Out here we don't pay for water. The water comes right out of the ground, out of the well. I have 4 different wells on the property here. So water's free and plentiful. But it's not like that everywhere. You know, if you're in a city, right? Turning on the faucet, people take it for granted how the water comes. But if here in California, we allowed the farmers to actually grow food, then we wouldn't have water in the cities. That's kind of the problem that California's going through right now, is not having the people need water resources because it's more valuable than food, right? But you got to eat as well. So a lot of the farms are drying up, and the land is turning into solar farms now because we need the water for the cities. So it's like, it's this big problem, right, with lack of water. So
It kind of also reminds me of, like, even in California, it kind of reminds me of pushing you into the 15-minute cities, because if there's someone that's going to do it, it's California. And like I live out in Toronto, and I think Toronto's another one that is trying to do it too. Like they're trying to push everyone into this one little belt and take away all the land up north or something like that. But that sounds like a serious problem. But and it shouldn't be, because you should, like, there should already be natural resources available for the more, like, the problem is California is in a more drier area, so like you will have droughts, but at the same time you would think like the food and everything would be more important, but capitalism would run it so that it's like, well, we water goes to the cities, and if we have to import the food from Florida, we're going to
yeah.
import the food from Florida, right? I
Do
don't
you
care
ever
about
play
growing in California.
Civilization? You ever played
Sorry.
Civilization?
Oh yeah, I have it. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Civ. Yeah.
So I just got the new one. But like I'm playing Civilization, and like that's a problem, is like I'm like, oh, this place needs food. So I've got to, I have no more land to grow food, so I got to get it from over here. Or this
Yep.
place needs water, and I don't have the ability to build this because I need to grow the food there to feed this place, you know. And so it's that same problem that we're experiencing now. It's like we're getting the food from over here, we're getting the water from over here, instead of decentralizing, you know, the food and the water for all the different places, right? we're centralizing everything. That's the cities, people stacked on top of each other. There's
Yep.
plenty of land and resources if people are spread out. But if you don't stack people on top of each other, then you can't capitalize off of them. That's the problem.
Yeah. I was going to say you just described capitalism.
Mhm.
And then you said it, and
Yeah,
then you said at the
100%.
end you can't capitalize off of them.
Yeah, and so like there's a serious problem with capitalism. I
Mhm.
don't think socialism is the answer, but there needs to be a way that things can be decentralized. There's too much of major corporations, big large
Agreed.
conglomerates that just own everything and
Mhm.
centralize everything so that they can maximize their profits. And even the products that they make, it's planned obsolescence, so that instead of making something that can last forever, it's something that's designed to break. Like, have you heard like the light
Absolutely.
bulbs, right? Light bulbs could last forever. Instead, they make them to
They last
break.
like 6 months.
Yeah. In your cars, same with your car. Your car could literally be fixed. And so they engineer them in a way where it's too expensive to fix it, so that way you just buy a new car. And
Totally. Oh,
we're
totally.
burning through the resources of the planet that way. So that is one thing where I'm like, okay,
Very true. Very true.
decentralized, you know, blockchain technology, or just decentralizing everything in general is, I think, the answer to fix a lot of our problems. But like we were saying earlier, is it doesn't look like things are decentralizing. They're becoming more and more centralized, just like Bitcoin,
So, I agree with you, and I think we have too much centralization, and the whole idea is that we want to get to a decentralized place, but you do need this is the weird part is, but I can explain it is that for functioning decentralization, you actually need a centralized entity to help out, but you just need a form of making of keeping that entity in check. Um, Now, where was I going with this?
This is something I
Um,
got to say. I think the goal is, under the guise of decentralization, of you can own a tokenized version of, like we were talking with Algorand, like a solar farm. What it will
yeah,
be is it will be a centralized solar farm producing all the power, but people being able to buy a small portion of it tokenized, decentralizing all of it. But really, all of the power is in one place, and that
yeah, yeah.
rises a problem of what happens when something breaks, or another country or entity wants to take that out. Like, now that becomes a problem where I believe that what they're doing is giving us the guise of decentralization, but what they're really doing is centralizing everything.
I would agree. I would agree. Now, like when you say like, and like that's where it's hard. It's that I think that something was built out that people notice that this is a possibility for the next. I don't want to say the next big thing, but like the next big movement, and then people see the greed in it, and it kind of goes back to what I was talking about. Like you don't really need blockchain to get decentralization on the world. It's human greed that have put us in this position, and
Right.
then that goes into the whole thing about like the left and right hemisphere, like yin and yang, good and bad. Is that you need to be in the middle of all that to be successful. Like you can't just be a good person. You need to understand from bad. You can't just be a bad person. You need to understand from good. That's the whole point of like the world. So then that bring that to decentralization and centralization. You need the left and the right.
Right.
You will always need it in you always need the male and the female to create the future. That's just the way it is. So that's why there will always be that centralized entity in a decentralized system. But I think that's the problem is that we think like and it goes into the word like the definition of words, which something I always talk about. NFTs, have they been properly defined? They have, but they haven't because they're evolving. The definition is actually going to change.
And now the word has
So
a stigmatism to it,
Yes, and
So
that's
now
what
we can't use that
decentralization is.
word anymore. We have to come up with a new word.
And I feel like that's what we're getting with decentralization. We've said it enough to the point where people are like, "Well, you can't just decentralize everything because because someone's going to take advantage of that at one point. Someone will. We have bad actors all the time in our blockchain stealing money in fake projects, right? So there has to be checks and balances. But
Um,
that's again why I love Cardano so much because it was one of the first blockchains that was, even though it's not perfect, it fundamentally said we're building checks and balances into the actual coding of owning one ADA. No other blockchain ever did that.
right.
So, like, and I think that's a big deal. That's a really big deal.
Chat. Whitney says, "Is there room to ask a question?" What's your question, Whitney?
Yeah.
Go ahead. But yeah, like you were saying, and before, because the question's not here, I want to kind of circle back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Is
Absolutely.
I was talking about the what is the actual currency? The actual currency is work, right? Is labor,
Mhm.
and Bitcoin is proof of work, right? Whereas Cardano is proof of stake, okay,
Mhm.
which is time. So the blending of Bitcoin and Cardano to me is putting time and energy together in one space, which is the true value in currency, right? So that's
Very
why
nice. Yeah.
I'm so bullish on Cardano, because I'm like, this is the true value in the system.
So that's a big word. True value to Bitcoin is Cardano. You would have some people ready to flog you for saying that, but I personally, I personally love it. I personally love it, but I do think that's a big deal, and it's something that keeps me in this game because in the past couple of years it hasn't been fun. Like we really don't know what's going on. We can kind of see blockchain will be the future, but we don't know what's the real coin. We don't know who's real actor or not. But the one thing I loved was like this whole thing with that Cardano will work with Bitcoin and be the utility driver behind Bitcoin. And then it just made you think it's like when one hand helps the other, it makes a more beautiful product. And if Cardano has built out so much of this DeFi and in this altcoin and has a lot of the things that can utilize Bitcoin, when you have something like Lace Wallet where you click a button and I can just go and switch from Bitcoin to Cardano and trade on either ecosystem by just flipping out. I noticed my hand was over here, flipping in each wallet. It's just so it's so beneficial.
Yeah, I
And
have a
then
lace
that's also
wallet.
like the sleeping giant behind Cardano. Like what Ethereum's 3,000, Solana's 300, Cardano's at $1.
Yeah,
And it's literally working hand to hand. It has, and that's what I'm saying. It has value wise as long as people get behind it, a very big potential for growth in your wallet compared to buying Ethereum right now. I'm not saying Ethereum's not going to do well or go further. I'm just saying Cardano's at a really nice price and undervalued for as much reach as it has. I don't. The
absolutely.
only one that can compare to it is XRP
Yeah,
for as
and
much reach as it will have in the future.
yeah, I agree with that sentiment. Like as far as say, and I would say Ripple, maybe not so much XRP. Like Ripple
Oh, okay,
is,
my bad.
yeah, Ripple is going to do. That's a problem. Is people um, say mean Ripple, but they say XRP. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this question. So this is a debate that we've had here for a long time, because I was an XRP maxi, right? I
Mhm.
would probably call myself an ETH Cardano maxi now, um, because of security, right? I
Mhm.
think
Yep.
that when it comes to institutional value, that they don't care so much about speed as they do um, having security and privacy, right? And
Yeah.
that, and that's midnight with Cardano, is that privacy, and
Yeah.
Cardano is um, very safe. So is Ethereum. I would even go to maybe think that Cardano could potentially be safer than Ethereum as far as
Oh, it's
security.
100%. In my opinion, it's 100% safer. Like knowing through both of the systems, I've had my Ethereum wallet drained. I've had to be worried. You cannot get your Cardano wallet drained unless you give out your keys. Cardano is definitely the safest asset.
Right.
I
And
one of the safest.
that being the case, so narratives, right? So narrative right now is utility, and XRP is going to facilitate this global transfer of wealth cross borders, right? And that's what everyone's looking at, and they believe that XRP will be that because it's so fast and efficient, right? But if I'm a large institution and I want to move institutional value, do I care more about speed or do I care more about security and privacy?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think, and I said this yesterday on the live, is would you rather pay a crackhead to move your $10 billion across the way on a bicycle because he can do it faster, or would you rather pay the armored truck to sit in traffic?
That's a great point. No, is it my that made me laugh so hard. I love it. But I think yeah, no, I think safety is, especially for large amounts. I don't know enough about XRP or Ripple to go down that debate. It like I always thought that they had a better technology system to run with the way banks transfer money. I don't know like how to physically lay that out, but like that was just my understanding of it. So like it overlays the banking system a little better rather than you'd have to build out an entirely new system to overlay the transfer of wealth of banking on Cardano. Um, but that's again why you're saying you're going to probably have multiple chains. But yeah,
Right.
I would choose safety over everything. I think that's the most important thing. And I also would choose accessibility. But the thing is that all blockchains are accessible,
Right.
and like that was the reason I say that is because at Consensus 2025, listening to Eric Trump talk. I'm not saying I'm the biggest supporter, but like they were really pushing that, and it makes a lot of sense to the average year. Crypto is accessible 24/7. What happens if there's something that you need to do on a Saturday or a Friday night, or you're across seas and there's a problem? But like crypto is the only thing that you can instantly change it within minutes, seconds even.
Right.
If you had a problem and you're in a different country, you cannot access your Canadian funds or your American funds. You would have to wait. You would have to wait a 24-hour. Oh, it's the weekend. Oh, we're closed. It's 8 p.m. There's none of that in crypto.
Exactly. And I think
But
that that's the
but that's
future.
for all of them.
The future is that the markets never close, money never stops
Mhm.
moving. Everything is just going around and round and round. And that's, ties in with AI. AI works the same way. It's consistently always working and growing. And that's the direction we're headed. But back to like the XRP thing, right? Does, with the way things are moving in this country, in the US, what was the first bill we passed? The Genius Act, stablecoin legislation, which leads me to believe that stablecoins is the direction that they're moving with this. There may not be a necessity for a native token in the future, that they can literally 86 that out completely. Will they? I don't know. I think they'll use it more or less for like a liquidity pool for, certain things. But, the XRP speculation is that, oh, they're going to be transferring this money, so it has to make the price go up. But it's like trying to fill a bucket with no bottom in it, right? The faucet's on and it's running, but it's going right through the bottom of the bucket. Yeah, you get a few splashes on the side of the bucket, but is it really affecting the value because it doesn't sit in XRP?
I think that's a good point. And like you're right. Like I don't know. Sometimes I can't really answer some of those questions because you're right. Like where is the buying power and the holding power on the actual token that's going to make it rise if it's just constantly being transferred through the banks as like it's you know what it's I'm definitely not XRP Ripple Maxi, and I wouldn't even know how to answer that. Like that's a good question. Um, and then it even makes me think about like the question that you posed, like if everything's moving so quick and we're doing that, all of a sudden security is the number one thing. Because if you're saying my bank accounts can be emptied in a night while I'm sleeping, I want the most
In a
secure fucking thing
second,
possible. Sorry for yeah,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, in a second.
So
Whereas like I can have my money as an institution in Cardano, and maybe there's some way where maybe the technologies blend together. Someone had asked, is Ethereum not the future as well? I think they're all the future. It's an
what,
ecosystem where they will all serve a purpose and have a place. And even with Ripple not being as secure, does not mean that a new layer or technology comes into play that makes it into that technology that it needs to be. But is XRP going to $10,000 in November? Absolutely not.
I don't think so. But
Yeah,
I don't even think like Cardano will go to $10, like, in November. Like, we could be happy if it reaches all-time highs, maybe the $5 American. Like, that would be like the beauty point, but that's even like the stretch. But if we're in a bull, it'll be interesting. Um, we don't know. We really don't know yet. And you don't know until it actually happens.
also think about
Um,
this, is there are more crypto projects than have ever existed, right? So
yeah,
when alt season happens, the liquidity is more spread out.
yeah,
So do
that's
we
true.
see all-time highs? Maybe not.
That's a good point, because people are always looking for the next thing. And I always find that interesting because people know me, like, especially at work or friends. And it happens all the time where I go into work and someone's like, "What do you think about this new token?" And I'm like, "Well, like, do you have Cardano yet? Do you have Bitcoin?" They're like, "No, no, no. But like, I heard about this new token." And I'm kind of like, well, that's our main problem right there. Is if everyone thinks that the only way to enter crypto is by buying the next 10-cent token so it goes to $1, we're already onboarding people the wrong way. And I'm not saying
Exactly.
we are, but like, I mean, the masses are.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's influencers and social media is part of that
mhm.
problem. We're
Yeah, they see a lot of it on their phone
feeding
for sure.
feeding a narrative of, oh, buy this meme coin because it's the next hot thing, and you're gonna grow your bags real fast, or feeding the narrative that adoption is happening tomorrow, they're flipping the switch. It's just going to take new people that aren't educated in the space, give them improper education to milk them of
Yep,
their liquidity and make them say, I'm never doing this again.
exactly. And then probably telling a friend or two to never do it again. Oh, I know a friend who put 10,000, lost their money.
Yeah.
Everyone has that.
Yeah. And
Like, I can, yeah, for sure. Um,
that's what I'm
yeah,
trying to
man. So
change
like,
here. I'm trying to
so that,
educate the
yeah,
public on this technology, and that, like you said, everyone's focused on the new thing that's shiny right now, when what we should be focused on is thinking fourth dimensionally to what is the next thing if we are moving towards adoption, which we are. But it's a process that has to take place. The technology is not ready for it. Even at
mhm,
Rare Evo, there was a couple of people that were like, "Oh yeah, super cycle mass adoption's happening right now," but it seemed like most of the actual developers of this technology were saying like, "Hey, the technology is not ready for adoption yet,"
yeah,
and with that, development needs to come, and then there's the onboarding of people. People have to
yep,
actually have the tech and know how to use it and use it properly. So
hmm,
I think we're just so freaking early. That's why I look at
yeah,
Cardano and I'm thinking fourth dimensionally of the future of maybe 10, 15 years down the road, what will actually be valuable, what will actually be worth holding on to because it's safe,
mm,
fast, and that's why I'm like Bitcoin with Cardano. Boom, that's everything.
yeah, and you have to, with Cardano, with it affecting Bitcoin, is that you also have like the up. Like, I love about Cardano is there's so much more coming. So you have like the Laos upgrade, and like Laos will make it the fast that you need, like you'd see Solana transactions, which puts out that And then you have Midnight, which will be single hand, like attached to Cardano in every single way, to the point where while you're staking your Cardano, will be one of the few things that if you're staking your Cardano in a stake pool, you will now earn Cardano and Night token, which
Right.
is absolutely unheard of. You're earning two currencies at once, and now you have a privatized layer two or layer one, whatever you want to call it, that's attached to these, where you can have the institutions like banks and healthcare systems or laws where you actually need privacy, because it makes sense. You can't just have something like Cardano or everything on the blockchain. If there's names, if there's health records, if there's law records, there's things that have to be private. Midnight answers those.
Yeah.
So now, like that whole trio there, it's really exciting. And then on top of it, Midnight's open to all these other people who got that airdrop. So like the ecosystem's growing. It's just up to people. And you know what? That's what it is too. Is like, I think that goes back to the question: is Ethereum still the future? Like someone was asking and that you were answering. I think a lot of these are the future, right?
Yeah.
But you also have to take into account that, like, some will monetary value will outperform some in the bull run just because of the way they're laid out and built. So Ethereum's always
And
going to go around. I
narrative.
don't think Ethereum's going to zero, but
Right.
you just have more potential in the Cardano tech for more people to use it. And on top of it, you're saying like it's also the idea, like the actual idea of it. If I have one Ethereum and it's worth $3.5 thousand, but you're telling me Cardano is going to be the next big thing, and I can just sell that one Ethereum and get 3.5 thousand ADA. Oh, that's a psychological matter that looks good in your
Right.
head, and those are factors that people actually trade on. I would say,
I
especially if you have news
when
saying
I
it's going to be
first
the
started
next big thing.
trading, I liked to buy coins like that so that I could say I've got a billion of this coin,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly.
And so like, I'm holding I think it's my grass. I think I have like 3 million in grass. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Yep.
cool. Like, because it looks like I have a lot of something. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
yeah. And potentially if those prices go up, then hey, I've got a lot of freaking money, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
the psychology, like you were saying, is people are like, oh, there's a potential to make more money. Whereas like if I buy Bitcoin, I'm owning a fraction of it.
Of a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And you kind of know that Bitcoin's been in the hype cycle. Like, let's say you bought a Bitcoin now too, and that's what kills me too. A lot of people will be like, "Well, should I buy Bitcoin now?" And it's like, it depends what you're buying it for. Because if you want to buy Bitcoin right now to become a millionaire next year in the bull run, well, then no, Bitcoin's the wrong thing to buy. Now,
Right.
if you want to buy Bitcoin because you want to dip your toes into it, you want to see where it goes in 10 years, I would absolutely encourage it. I think you are going to see some negativity and you can wait, but in 10 years, you're going to have a better value.
Right. But
Um,
why
so
why
it's
not
yeah.
be, if you're going to wait 10 years, why not be patient and buy in 10 months? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I would say that if I knew if they were a friend, but if they're not a friend, I'd be like, well, you have to know, just be someone
Yeah.
in passing. It's like, what are you doing? You're holding it for 10 years, you're holding it for 6 months. 6 months, go to altcoins. 10 years, you can buy Bitcoin for sure, but you can also make more money in this next altcoin season and everything below it. And then, as you're saying, at the next dips, buy back into the layer ones. Because we're in that transition value of Bitcoin not, well, it did hit its all-time high. I think it has a lot of room to grow still because you still have more news coming from the government, and then it drops right into altcoin season like really quick. And I think it would be smarter for people to make money in altcoin season and then buy maybe their Bitcoin down the road. And then like ADA again is such an easy thing because if you start buying ADA now, next year, if it's compatible, it'll be really easy probably to switch your ADA right to a Bitcoin,
Right.
especially if those things drop. Yeah. But it is. I guess I'm an ADA maxi, so everything
Dude, I
with me
kind of
would
am
be
now
leaning
too.
towards them.
Like, I still
I
like
love you too.
Ethereum. I'm pretty much Ethereum and Cardano are my
Mhm.
two. H bar is good too. Um, but I'm more focused on the security side. So one thing that I like about Ethereum is it has SXT. I don't know if you know what it is.
Okay,
It's space
you
and
can explain
time.
it.
And
Okay,
what space and time is, it's off chain data verification.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and basically, it seems like what it's doing is the same thing that Midnight's doing with Cardano.
Mhm.
Now, I got into SXT, it just hit in May of this year. And then now I'm, go to Rare Evo and I'm exposed to, um, Midnight and Cardano. And I'm like, okay, this is good too. It seems like there's a similarity in the new tech that's being created. And I've been saying this for months is like the next narrative, because right now everything is speed and cost. The next
Mhm.
narrative is going to be privacy and security, right? So I'm like,
I like
okay,
it. Yeah.
like, what do I want to get into? I want to get into Midnight and Cardano, and I want to get into Ethereum and SXT. And the one thing I like about SXT, and maybe you can enlighten me on Midnight on this, is SXT is partnered with Microsoft and Chainlink. So it's
Mhm.
cross border tech. So even though it's on the Ethereum network, it can work on um, other platforms and
Chains.
other chains,
Okay.
right? Is Midnight cross border, or is
So
it
midnight is cross border, to my understanding. Now, it's not fully been explained. Like I think, but well, it has, but I can't fully explain it. But to me, it would be cross border because first, like it will always directly work with Cardano, like when you're earning it. But like the airdrop went cross border, not just the
right? It
Cardano,
was
went to like 8
Solana and
different chains.
XRP,
Yeah.
and there's a whole bunch of them.
And then you kind of just made me think because they were just talking about how the CF or someone was dissing Chainlink or what you were just talking about, but Charles himself just came out and saying how Chainlink is going to look at working with Cardano and possibly Midnight, which makes me think now that yeah, what you're saying is that might be the connecting factor between a lot of these. It just
Right.
hasn't been announced right now
That's
because
why.
they are, and like that's these backdoor deals. Like
Right.
it's like these people are all talking, and oh man, like yeah, no, sorry, you're just bringing up making my mind wander a little bit. So
Yeah.
I
No.
was like, yeah,
Please
all that's possible.
go down the rabbit hole, brother. Because I think that Chainlink is the lines that connect all the dots. You know,
Yeah.
and so like that's where I'm like, okay, like yeah, I'm all about Chainlink. So anything that's partnered with Chainlink, I'm gonna be into it.
So everyone, like, yeah, so everyone was talking about Chainlink. It was a big thing. And then that's why Charles, when I saw the post about Charles coming out saying that no, Chainlink is looking into Cardano and stuff like that, that's a bullish thing. But okay, so now this is going back to where we started this question is it seems like the same technology and the same ideas are kind of moving forward. You said like Ethereum and like Cardano, and the one, and this is why I talk more about Charles than Cardano because first of all, Cardano has three entities that run it, and it was Emergo, Cardano Foundation, and then IOHK. And these entities have actually hurt each other, which have in turn hurt Cardano and its prestige and how it's known. Um, but then you look at something like all the how did all these chains work together and the understanding of it all. Charles understands it because he helped build Bitcoin. He's the co-founder to Ethereum and the
Right.
founder to the IOHK into Cardano, meaning that he understands how all these systems work. And again, you look at the courts. He's the one there. You don't see Vitalik in the courts arguing for our
Right.
Bitcoin, right? You see Charles. So when you now look at the backhand deals in the doors, why like, and it's kind of in my post they made, but first thing Charles did break down the barrier with Ripple, break down the barrier with Chainlink, became friends with Tesla and Elon Musk, got in with the Trump government. All this happened 4 or 5 months ago, so, and now you're seeing people following suit on the privacy and the networks that Cardano and Charles was building, and you saw some of that Ethereum stuff and their nuances come out after like Cardano made its announcements. And I feel like some of the other blockchains are realizing, like scrambling, being like, oh, they are on the right path and people are liking it. I'm not saying it's the ultimate goal, but I do see how you're making the right political connections, you're making the right um like blockchain connections, your development's right, and now all of a sudden people want to work with it. So yeah, I don't know. Long
Yeah.
story short is I do think Chainlink is a good one, and it's like it's like the You can see it when people are talking and all of them are working together. It's like, are they considering Cardano? That would be awesome. Anyways, no, you make me think. You
Let's
make me
just
go down the rabbit hole.
yeah, let's just say something here, right? Let's just say that Cardano isn't it. Let's just say that
Okay.
um, Solana isn't it, right?
Mhm.
But you're a Solana or Cardano maxi, right? And let's just say that it's Cubic is actually the one that is, and there's another creator I was telling you about, Cosmic Crypto. He thinks of this as like when the cell phones came out, right? All the different cell phone companies, you know, we had Boost and Nextel, and we had, you know, Apple and Samsung and all these different companies, right? Now, obviously, Apple took control of the market, right? And it was the one,
Okay.
right? The one. But we still have Samsung, we still have all these other ones. And then as the technology progressed, Apple gained so much control, and it got to a point where people got kind of fed up, and now they switched over to Android. And so then we have like the Android and we have the Apple users, right?
Yep.
And then now we have Google is coming out with their own plans and stuff, right? But when this was all happening and all these different companies were coming out, what was happening is they were getting bought out, right? And so that's, you know, Boost took over Nextel and so on and so forth, right? So here's the thing is, if you owned Nextel and Boost bought it out, right, you still had a phone. You still had a network. You still had what you paid for. Therefore, I think, and this is why we need to stop being so bifurcated in crypto and realize that we're all crypto bros, we're all here, and we're all going to make money, is because maybe Cardano isn't it, maybe Solana isn't it, and it gets bought out by Ripple. Okay, let's just say that. Or Circle, right? Let's just say Circle buys out Ripple and Cardano buys out Ethereum, or vice versa, right? Those who hold Cardano are still going to make a lot of freaking money. It's not like Cardano loses its value. Maybe the native token is pumped into who knows what it is, but I don't think it's one of those things where it's like, just because this technology isn't the one that gets adopted doesn't mean that there's not money to be made there, and doesn't mean that you're going to go to zero because some other company buys it out.
Yeah. I no. First of all, I can agree with that, and the same thing can even be brought, like we were talking about this before, can be brought to memes or even NFTs. Like, maybe it doesn't have the value it want right now, but if it has some utility behind it or something, someone might buy it out, and you might actually get a value for it. Now, I do think, like, you are right. Now, there are certain tokens that will go, like, I think people can lose a lot of money, and there are like schemes, unfortunately, but that goes into that like, there's millions of tokens. So of course, if you're going in the backdoor alleys and you're in an interesting area, one of those tokens might not get bought out and you
Right.
might lose some money.
It could get
Um,
delisted,
but
you know?
yeah, it could get delisted or something like that. But again, that's why I look at some of these fundamental coins. I think, like, as you're saying, yeah, if it doesn't reach mass adoption, it might have a technology that either allows it to go forward and people still get a value off of it, or maybe, yeah, like, for me, that's a hard question to ask for, because I wouldn't buy like a layer one and treat it like a meme. And some people do, because they're, I guess, like, it's just not an education towards it. Um, so yeah, I think Bitcoin will always be around. If Bitcoin dies, then everything dies. Like, there is no go. Like, that's one thing that we have to accept, that, like, like, there isn't going to be like, oh, there something's going to surpass Bitcoin and Bitcoin's not going to be the one. I think that will always fundamentally be that goal that's there.
Yeah, these
Um,
people think that XRP is going to flip Bitcoin.
yeah, like, I don't think that
It's
fixed
never
up
going to
will happen.
happen.
I think it's going to work because it's already, because you have to also look at it like, and this is where it gets into nation building and like empire building, is that you can't simply just create another token that it has enough globalized impact to have like what, a net worth of like like what is it, trillions of dollars, like
Hmm.
that's not just like Ontario or like California being like, yeah, we're going to pool our money into this one thing. No, that's like a bunch of people over a decade actually giving value to something.
Right.
That doesn't happen overnight. And that's
Exactly.
why Bitcoin's where it's at. And you'll never have a new one just happen overnight, I think. So that's a big thing. And then what will happen is all the ones that figure out how to work with it, just like precious metals, will do better. And why does silver do so well? It sometimes it has a utility process, but it also has that identity of putting silver into gold and creating that new substance where it's still gold, but you have silver giving you gold, but now all of a sudden, well, like the process is different, but
Right.
you're getting a lesser material, like an 18 karat, because there's silver in it. But then you look at Bitcoin, so it's like you're getting your Bitcoin moving, but Cardano's helping it. So is Cardano like the silver to the gold of the bit kind of
That's what
deal?
I think.
You can see where I'm going with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cardano is the silver in this case, right? So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, because we're looking at it like it's money, it's an investment, right? And we're looking to grow our wealth. What are the top two precious metals? Gold and silver. So if you're looking at that in a digital aspect, I think gold and silver are a good place to be at. And then the next level would be RWAs, which is everything else.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, no, for sure. Well, RWA's in the actual blockchain for sure. And then yeah, so going back to like where you started the question is like, yeah, most likely you will, if you've been in this long enough and you're in the right tokens, the longevity of it will treat you well, especially if you're in some of these top tens. The only thing I would say is that, yeah, if you're going down the crypto.com list and you find yourself on like page 20 and you're
Yeah,
and you're on those random memes, that
yeah,
one might not get bought out by like
yeah.
some big
I'm talking
conglomerate.
more or less like
Yeah.
utility coins, like top 50, top
Mhm.
100,
Well,
maybe
the
even.
one that I bring up sometimes is like, I don't know how much you know or if anyone is invested in it because it kind of is an Ethereum thing, is but it's like Hexo, is it
Yeah,
Hexagon or Hexo or whatever
yeah,
it was? And how people got locked into it and it was supposed to be this big thing. And I know some people here and my friends are like, oh no, I still have my tokens. They're just locked for like years. And like when I get them out in the next bull run, it'll work. And it's just like it's just kind of like the understanding of listening to people talk, and it's like you're saying the right words, but you're not understanding that that person locked the tokens to probably take the liquidity for themselves in the beginning. That's the
right.
whole reason why you lock the tokens.
And
So
when it
yeah,
comes time to cash out, is that liquidity even going to be there?
exactly. So yeah, so there, but that's what I was gonna say is there's some great narratives that unfortunately even some of my good friends have get caught into, where you're kind of like, ooh, I don't know. Now I could be wrong. Maybe those people become millionaires down the line. And I would hope that.
I
I
hope so.
hope
Yeah,
everyone wins. Yeah, I hope everyone wins, but at the same time, fool me once, whatever, fool me twice, shame on me, right?
right.
So
And that's
I
one
try
thing
to
I
I
say
try to
about
think
like XRP is going to do phenomenal things this bull run because of the narrative behind it, right?
narrative's important.
And because of that narrative, though, most of regular people won't actually realize any of that profit because they'll be expecting something much bigger, a $10,000 price mark that never comes. So
Yeah.
$10 comes for XRP and you could have made $1 million, but you see it on paper, but it never actually becomes real because you don't sell because you're expecting
Yeah.
something so much further. And that's, as a creator in this space, and I see a lot of the XRP community, a lot of them, they're very smart and intelligent people, but the one thing that they say is, I never sell my XRP. I never
Mhm.
sell it. I never sell it. And I'm like, how are you supposed to make any money if you don't sell it? And
Makes
it's
sense.
like, I get you're speculating on these crazy things, but the bull run is not the time for accumulation. Accumulation
for
is
sure.
during the bear cycle, and we get good 4 years to build those bags up for it to run now. So the people that are FOMOing into the market right now, and the creators that are out there building up that FOMO, are doing that disservice to the people that don't know or understand crypto, and getting them burned because they're buying the top. And
I couldn't agree more.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm a
couldn't agree more
trader.
in so many ways.
I'm a trader. I do technical analysis, right? And I'm printing money with this market because of how volatile it is. Volatility is what pays. Like, you obviously you can day trade in stocks, but they're not going to produce the type of money from day trading like crypto does, because of those big massive swings. One day those swings will be gone, and there won't.
I agree.
And it will be more stabilized out. It'll be like the S&P 500, and that's what crypto will be. So this idea of hodling, because I've been in crypto for so long, right? I've been here forever. And this idea of hodl, diamond hand, whatever you have, is an actual new concept. And everyone's just like, you can just buy and hold and you're going to wake up rich one day. And yeah, there's a possibility, but what you're doing is you're buying a lottery ticket. You're buying a lottery ticket and you're hoping that it works, when there's literally something right in front of you that can print you money daily. And people they're leaving so much money on the table by just buying and hodling than actually trading it. And with the hodling, it's a 50-50, because you're speculating on whether or not this technology is actually going to be used and adopted and how long that's going to take. Whereas most of these crypto bros that are driving the Lambos and have the big chitty chick on his arm, they're not hodling. They're freaking trading this shit. And it's just so crazy to me. I just don't understand it. And I blame social media. I blame the creators, and I blame, the bull run comes around and there's all these new creators that come and pop into the space and just start regurgitating the same crap that they heard from someone else. And it becomes this major sentiment, right? So now, as a trader, I use all these things as indicators. So when everyone on social media is screaming super cycle to the top of their lungs, screaming mass adoption is happening right now, this time it's different, I'm going to lean the opposite, because I believe that those narratives are being pumped out to use the regular people as exit liquidity. Damn well there is some whale, if not multiple whales out there, that are paying influencers saying that if you say these things, you're going to get money. Yep. Like Jake Claver. Totally. It just came out that Jake Claver is a paid influencer and gets paid to say what he says. I don't know if you know who Jake Claver is.
I don't, but I would agree. Well, I'm actually going to check this out now, but I would agree that everything you're saying is right. And I would agree that. Sorry, I was just looking at this too.
Nicholas says, short or long BTC? I'm not sure. What I would say is I don't short. I only do longs. And if you're in BTC right now, not financial advice, but maybe you want to do what some of the bigger whales are doing and taking large portions of their Bitcoin and moving it into Ethereum, moving it into Solana, moving it into Cardano, moving it into XRP. Because if Bitcoin does crash, at least you're holding some alts. You're a little diversified.
Bitcoin, and also, like, a Bitcoin crash is not planned, but it's also needed for an altcoin season.
Yeah,
because the dominance of Bitcoin will have to go down. So at one point, you're actually like the only reason you should be shorting Bitcoin in any sort of way is because you think altcoin season's coming, in my opinion.
Right. And I believe altcoin season is coming.
But I still think there's enough news in the government to make Bitcoin pump a little more. This isn't Bitcoin's final run before altcoin season. I think they still have news like tax percentage, taxes reduction, or something along those lines that gives it one last push before it gets into an altcoin season. That's
There's
just me
a
though. I could be wrong.
there is a news article that came up. It says Ethereum whales stack 3.9 million despite ETH falling harder than Bitcoin. There was another one. Someone sold like 91 million, or no, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin are being sold and moved into Ethereum. If that's not an indicator of alt season, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So
No, I couldn't agree more, and I do think it's coming, especially because we get into. Actually, I had two things to say about this because it kind of sums up the whole narrative of what we've been talking about. But I do think like altcoin season is coming. Uh, but okay, actually, forget the two things. But when you go, okay, so we were talking about narratives, and there was the narrative of last bull run. It was what is the killer? So Ethereum's the Bitcoin killer, Cardano's the Ethereum killer. This is this killer. There's only going to be one blockchain, et cetera, et cetera. The narrative this turn is which blockchain works the best with Bitcoin to make it compatible,
right,
if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And we've already seen that play out.
what
And that
gives
also,
Bitcoin utility and
yeah,
speed
right.
and
And
cost
that's
efficiency?
literally what's happening.
The
And what
problem
better
is
would be an altcoin season is that narrative too.
the problem is you are correct. We are correct in that. The problem is that in the crypto space of the entire world, right, we have 10% of the world in crypto or less, right?
Yeah.
Of that 10%, I would say 99% of those people are uneducated in crypto, and they don't understand anything, and they buy Bitcoin. The other 1% are you and me and everyone else here in the chat. We're educated and we're learning and we're trying to understand what is the next thing. But because of that lack of education, what ends up fueling it, instead of it being the true actual thing that people should be focused on, is that Bitcoin is coming to Cardano. They're focused on XRPs going to 11D. And that narrative is what's being pushed. So I believe that it should be Cardano and Bitcoin, right? But it won't be because social media is pushing XRP so hard.
Well, more than social media, I think it's also like it's not just social media. Social media is the platform. There's probably entities that are involved that need it. And the same with Ethereum. Like people aren't just going to let Ethereum die. There's too much money and VC capital in it. I'm not saying it deserves to die. I'm just saying I don't think it would. And then also there's the idea of speculation. Is that let's say Bitcoin and Cardano are the top performers, people are still always going to speculate on other things. But I do think it is also, and I think Cardano is one of the most manipulated prices, is that it's like the whole thing where it's just like don't or like look at the left hand so you don't see what the right hand's doing. The
Yep.
sleight of hand, right? And they want you to focus on Solana. They want you to focus on Bitcoin. They want you to relook at Ethereum, XRP. They don't really want, and like that's what it's like. I've always wondered, why do people not want you to look at Cardano, especially with all the events I've been to, with the tech I've seen, meeting Charles. Like I've met Charles like 4 or 5 times, had multiple conversations with him. I've never met anyone else like before, and like
Yeah.
the ability to do that just makes me wonder like how much more tangible this is and how much more cheaper it is to buy and being part of like something nuanced rather than just being at like the back of the bus and no one even hearing me
I
in
think that's the
Ethereum
whole
because I'm
play.
such a new person.
The whole play is to keep you focused on XRP, keep you focused on Solana, keep you focused on
Yeah.
meme coins, while they start moving into projects like Cardano. And Cardano is actually probably in my opinion, the Apple of the cell phone realm, you know? And I think that
Yeah.
Solana
Well,
and XRP are more like Samsung and Motorola. They're not going
so you know what
anywhere, but they're going to get, because everybody had a Motorola phone at first, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
that's XRP to me is the Motorola. Okay. And everybody's going to have to get their Razer Motorola flip phone because that's what's cool and what's trendy right
The
now.
Razer, buddy.
But
I remember that Razer.
but Cardano's over here working on the iPhone.
First of all, I just have to say, do you remember the LG Shine when that one came out?
Oh man.
Did you ever have?
Dude, yeah. Dude, hey, do you remember the
It had an old gold or something.
Sidekick? Remember the Sidekick?
Oh, the Sidekick! I remember
That thing was
that.
bad.
So one thing, so the analogy I do want to say, and this isn't right, like who knows if this is right, but let's do analogy because we're using phones. iPhone is amazing, right? An iPhone did take off. But one thing that people don't really, I don't, it's not that they don't understand, but no one talks about is that iPhone did have to make a deal with Samsung and is about the screens because Samsung actually creates better glass for phones.
Right.
And they could actually have outperformed iPhone on that ability. But the fact that iPhone and Samsung made that magical deal saying that you can provide all their glass and we'll use the same shit. But we have iPhone, like, is that acceptance deal of two like big business partners making hands to dominate a market. And could you not see that exact same kind of thing with Bitcoin and Cardano right now, shaking the hands, you help me here, I help you there.
100%.
And yeah, so that's why it made me laugh the way you were saying it, because iPhone, I love talking about phones. I think that's a great way. I love talking about Steve Jobs as like a person in technology, because understanding how Steve Jobs ran like Next, iPhone, DreamWorks it's an amazing story. And if you overlay his story onto blockchain, you really can see there's so much fucking potential in blockchain. It's just up to the leaders that are, I don't want to say selling it to us, that are giving it to us. Selling it's the wrong word.
Yeah, they're all shaking hands. They're all sitting at the same dinners. They're all talking and they're scheming together, right? So, more than likely, you're right. Ripple is probably talking with Cardano and Solana and vice versa, and they're going to do something like that where they're going to say, "Hey, we have this technology, but we're not going to use it, so that way you can use your technology." So you don't go
Yeah,
anywhere.
for sure. And I'm hoping that's what the Bitcoin and Cardano kind of trip that goes to, where it's like you can have your Bitcoin, but maybe now Bitcoin's too slow, or it's too much of a transaction, or it's too busy. Swap over the Cardano side and continue your transactions, or get into maybe a more a more easier ecosystem because it doesn't have so much liquid or so much business. But yeah, and I'm sure more. Well, maybe Chainlink is like one of those ones that comes in and
Yep.
shakes all those hands. Right?
Jason
So.
14 says, "Don't sleep on Link," and I agree. And
Oh, I've heard of
maybe
I've heard of Link actually. Yeah.
yeah, Link is Chainlink.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. That's why I was like, why have I heard that? The way you said it, I was like, is this a new one? Why? Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course. But
Chainlink.
we were just saying, I don't think any of us are sleeping on Chainlink.
Yeah, Chainlink, like I said earlier, is the line that connects all the dots. I think it's the actual real big player. It's the semiconductor.
You know what's funny too is
In the
that
phone.
Chainlink was in the narrative last bull run too. So you got to get, like, it's not like this is a new chain. Like, they've always been around,
Right.
and they've always been a narrative. So this isn't something that's like, oh, they're new, I don't trust them. No, they're like, it's legit.
Yeah, they're
Once
like the battery company building the batteries for all the phones. That's what they are.
good way of explaining it. And
Every phone
sometimes,
needs a
bro, but
battery.
that goes. Oh man, that gets into this whole thing where it's just like you can't just have one crypto. And why would you want one crypto? It'd be like the most slowest, boring network where it's like going to a fucking amusement park and everyone's there and you don't get on the ride for an hour and a half. Why would I want that? You need multiple cryptos to excel at what they do, to make the whole entire chain run better.
I think
So
that narrative comes
yeah.
from the people that believe that crypto is going to become this one world currency, right? And
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
the mark of the beast thing, right? Um, I think that the whole system is that one world currency. It's not just going to be one crypto. It's going to be all of them together, the entire ecosystem. And
Yeah.
it's not Cardano, it's not Solana, it's not XRP, it's crypto. Crypto is the one world currency.
Or better yet, is internet not the one world currency? And everything you can do on the internet, and crypto and blockchain is actually the first time where we can own it. We can own the internet. Just like when they found land, someone decided to say, I'm going to own that fucking piece of land. And that's why I also try to, like, when I talk in a lot of times, I describe this transition of wealth as finding the new world. You have a bunch of Europeans who are living on themselves all over the land, and all of a sudden they find new land, new water, new food, and people go crazy. New wealth, new family, new empires are created. Um, it doesn't take away from everything else, but something new and new wealth was found. And I feel like that's where we're at right now. You can't find, we were talking, you can't find new land. They're already bottling up the air, ozone taxes, they're bottling up the
Mm-hmm.
water. You have your natural resources going. The only real thing that's left that we all can do is internet and knowledge and we've transferred internet knowledge to the point where we can transfer wealth to our data. And
Mm-hmm.
it's Bitcoin. And that scares probably entities that have worked so hard to control so much land. And now they need, and people will need to own the digital world, the ether,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, the ether, the negative anti-gravity. Sure, I don't know. That's what I was looking for. Anti-gravity, dark matter, all
Yeah.
that shit. So many names for it.
I think you're right. I think and that's that whole tokenization of everything. Own nothing and be happy. They're going to actually own it. You're going to think you
And you
own it.
think you own it.
Yeah.
But it's just like us right now. We think we own our life. Like, oh, I live in Canada. I have such a good life, and everything is like, do you really, or is it just because you tell yourself you have the same life? Are you telling me that if I dropped you somewhere else and maybe you don't like the scenery a little bit better, the food a little bit better, maybe the culture, the people a little bit better, you just like the fact that you're in the Western world and you can make mistakes and no one's going to chop your head off or send you to
Right.
prison or something like that,
Yeah.
right? So I like we live in this very dystopian future or like world. Like we're not. It's actually a very good thing I was explaining. It's like it almost reminds me of like religion. It's like you, and I don't mean to say this about US and attack US because Canada does this too, but it's like everyone kind of claims they're a Christian. But is really anyone like a real Christian? Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like a Bible thumper. And like that, a lot of people actually have that. It's like we want to pretend who we are, but are we really that? And that's what social media is. We want to pretend we're like a girl's not, well, a guy, a girl. I'm going to just use a girl because that's an example. A girl isn't like showing off her body, but every picture is a bikini picture.
But
It's just
even
like, well,
like
what are we getting here? Are we being
filters,
real here, or are we not?
filters. Every girl has a filter on and they look like they're a model. And then you take the filter off and you're like, oh my God, put it
Yeah.
back on.
It's like, why even, yeah. I feel bad sometimes too, because why are you trying to, you should feel comfortable in your own skin. You have to find the beauty in your own skin. I don't think people are like, well, I just think filter because I don't know why, whatever, like whatever it is. Yeah. You gotta be proud and beauty in your own skin. And I think same thing comes to this stuff. You gotta be proud and find the beauty in your blockchain or in your nation. You can't just say, oh, I'm here for the money,
Have you
right?
ever
You're
heard
most
that
likely here
term?
for,
She's a double bagger.
no, tell me. What
And
is
so
that?
it's
No way,
like,
what do you mean?
you go to the grocery store and you double bag your groceries, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like a girl that's like really ugly is a double bagger means you need to put two bags over her head. Okay.
I know, I've heard that.
And
No,
so
I get
like I feel like filters is the new put a bag over her head.
oh, for sure it
For
is. For
sure.
sure it is.
And
Man,
I think like you said, people should be comfortable with themselves in their own skin and stuff, but it's like, yeah, like social media has created a space of
couldn't agree more.
unreality,
Yeah, no,
unrealistic expectations. you know.
Absolutely.
Same with
No, I couldn't
crypto.
agree more. Well,
XRP,
one of the great
unrealistic expectations.
You're right, man. I love the one that's going around right now where it's like, oh yeah, girls, you just want us to be like, it's like Henry Cavill. It'd be so easy. Just have a little hair on the chest and go work out a bit. And they're like, bitch, he's Superman. What are you talking about? So you want us all to be Superman? Like what?
Yeah. Dude,
It's funny,
girls'
right?
expectation for men is far more like crazy than what men expect of women. Like, so they did like a study on
I get
men
what
and
you're
women,
doing.
and they asked to basically they took pictures of people off of dating apps, and they gave the men and the women, groups of men and groups of women, the same pictures of these same people, right? And they basically had to pick scale 1 to 10, what they rated them as, right?
Yep.
And all the women only picked like the top 1% of men and found them attractive. And it was also based on whether or not they felt that they could get that person, like if that person would actually be
That's funny.
attracted to them. So the women had very, very high expectations. Every single one of them were top tier. They they picked from a vast majority of different types of people. So obviously, beauty is relative, but there is a social norm of beauty, and the people who are on the lower spectrum of beauty still in the women's side found themselves in the top tier of beauty, right?
Yep.
And in the men were very realistic and median. They all felt that like normal average women, obviously men like beautiful women, and so yes, they want, but it was also rated on whether or not they thought that that person would be attracted to them as well. And men were found to be more conservative and leaning in the middle around like 6 and 7s, maybe
I
even
can see that.
5s,
Yep.
right? And so women's expectation for men is just so out of control. They want you to not only provide everything for them, they want to basically have the world handed to them, treated like a queen, and give nothing in return.
Still have options.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that comes from dating platforms, right? And
Yep.
these online
Social
dating
media.
is because women have so many options, right? As a man in social media and dating, unless you have money, you really don't stand out, right? Nobody wants to talk to you. They don't even respond to you. Whereas as a woman, whether you're ugly or not, they're going to get a response from a man because they're just swiping right to all of them. So the women
Yep.
have this higher self image of themselves, and also because women that hang around with other women, they all tell them, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so whatever. They're not going to tell you, well, you're actually probably low tier. You know what I mean? Like women just prop each other up, whereas men were just like, yeah, this is what it is.
Maybe you're a little out of your league or something.
Yeah,
like, something
exactly,
like that,
exactly.
Right?
But that's become a problem.
Like I feel like too, like a men now, women will do this. Women will do this, but I feel like men, like sometimes I feel like the one thing about a man. See, I don't want this is actually kind of me because I don't want to take this away from women because I think they do this too. But like a man's more likely to be like, okay, you know what? If you're not going to go after me, I'm gonna go hit the gym and then get someone else to like me rather than like. I think a woman would be like, they won't fix, they'll just say, well, I'll just take the next option rather
Right.
than figure out what the problem, maybe go work on it.
Yeah,
Because
or they'll just
you're
say,
right.
I'm
Like,
going to go get rich. I'm going to focus on my money, and then I can have whatever girl I want.
yeah, or something like that. Yeah. And I think that's like a big thing. Like, yeah. And like it even goes back down to like you can be like a gorgeous woman or whatever it is. But if like I've had this too, where it's like if you can't you can't cook or you don't want kids and you just want to party every night, now all of a sudden it's like, well, I like you're definitely 11 out of 11 out of 10, but like
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. I do. I totally agree. I think
Like, yeah.
men are more the romantic people, right? A
Well, yeah,
man
maybe
can
we
fall
prefer,
in
yeah.
love with a woman that works at Burger King, but the women are just like, I'll never date a guy that works at Burger King. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny? That's even true in history, I would say. Yeah, like that's an interesting concept. Yeah, like you'd hate to put that thing, but it's very true. Yeah,
Yeah. And
say that.
another problem with, and I know this is kind of off topic, but it's a good conversation I think we're having, is
Yeah,
because of online dating, um, women are not dating in their age group. They're dating older men because let's say you're a woman in college and you're a man in college, right? And so the guy in college says, "Hey, do you want to come over to my dorm and watch some movie and have some popcorn and whatever?" Because he doesn't have money, so he doesn't have a car,
totally.
and
I get what you mean.
he's putting himself through college, so he's living off top ramen. He's got his dorm, whatever, with his roommates and whatever. And she's just like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do that, right? Well, then she goes on a dating app. And there's a dude that's, twice her age and says, "Hey, you want to hop in my Corvette and cruise down to the beach and go ride the Ferris wheel?" Who's she going to say yes to? She's going to blow off the guy she's already made a
Yeah,
date with, and to go with someone that's older because they're already established, they already have money, they already have everything that that woman is looking for, right? Instead of building it with the man. And then
totally.
the man is over here, he's like, well, I got my Corvette and I got money and I can do whatever I want. I'm going to enjoy my time with you, and then next I'll
Yeah.
go hit up another one. And so these girls are chasing after something that never gives them the return that they're looking for. And it's this vicious cycle of women feel like all men are pigs, and I'm just being used by them. But the problem is they're not dating in their league or in their age group.
Yeah, totally. Or they're not understanding like reciprocal energy too. And like exactly a thing too, where it's just like you got to put something in. It depends. Like I think you got to put something in to get something back too. Um.
Yeah, they want to
So
they
yeah.
want to they want to give us used pussy and think that they get top dollar for it. That's all they got
No,
to
I
offer.
totally get that.
You're like,
You
I've
know
got a
what?
car, I've got a house, I've got land, I've got everything going for me, right? And what do you bring to the table? And then on top of it, they don't even want to wash dishes or make you a sandwich or anything, and that's misogynistic to ask of them. And I get it. Maybe that's not, as a woman, that's not what you want. Maybe you're a career driven woman, and good for you. Go out and chase your career and everything you can do, anything a man can do these days, right? But
Yeah,
you will be sacrificing something, because men
absolutely.
men will date you if you are a successful woman. But a woman, if
Mhm.
she's successful and you're not as successful and don't make more than she does, she will not date you.
Yeah,
There's an exception to the rule, but this is a numbers
yeah,
game, right? And so that's another problem so if you're going to go out and focus on your career and not focus on growing a family, don't come crying to me when you're 35, 45 years old and saying, no one wants to marry me. All these guys are F boys, you know? Well, that's because that's the life you chose. You chose that
totally.
path, you know?
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's like, yeah, like there's always karmatic responses in life. And when you and there also is like written codes too. I still believe that there's like a masculine code and a feminine code. And we should follow those to some extent. And there's subconsciouses built into that where it could even be like there's a reason why like a man or a male is technically always providing for, like, the masculine thing to do is provide for lesser um like weaker individuals. And that's not a mean thing. I just mean like men would perceive like I would protect a woman or a child all the time. Like that's what they do rather than a woman. In life, a lot of times psychology and subcology is always looking for it's like protection and a lifestyle from that man. So that kind of gets into the psychology of like a man will most likely will have a more open relationship rather than a woman might look at it as like how much are you going to provide? He might be a better protector. So I give them that like that portion of psychology, but I do think that then that's exacerbated or taken advantage of. And like
Yeah.
that's where we are in this world where we go too far left or too far right.
And the
Sometimes men
women,
are in control. Yeah.
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
The
No, go ahead.
women expect so much from the man. You know, if you think about dating, like, oh my God, I could never even imagine dating again. For like, I have money, but I'm fucking cheap. Okay. I do not want to spend my money unless it's going to make me money. Okay. The thought of
Yeah.
dating just sounds so expensive to me. Cause like, even just a movie date, you're talking about $15-20 tickets each. So there's $40.
Yep.
Then you add popcorn and a drink, right? And then after that, she wants to go to ice cream or sushi or something like that. But by the end of the night, one date, and she hasn't even given it up yet, you're already hundreds of dollars in. And then you do that 4 times a month, that's $400 or $500 a month. Just to date for 1 month.
Funny.
And then
I couldn't agree more.
then you're gonna date what? That girl doesn't work out, so then you start over with another one, or
Another
maybe
one.
you're dipping into the pool and you're dating a couple different ones at a time, just getting to know them as friends. They expect so much from you, and expect you to pay for all of this, but then bring nothing to the table.
So I agree. If you don't mind, I'll give you some examples because I'm single and I was looking and like there was a point where like in the past like 2 years, someone like the major girls I went out with, I'll never forget the one with social media and we're together. It's like 2 months, and there's a point where it's just like, well, are you going to stop? Like it's like everything's going great, but it's like, are you going to stop? Like, are you going to get off like your dating app? Because I don't use dating apps. Like, I think they're
Mhm.
stupid because why do you have like? I'd just rather talk to someone in person. You see me in person. I'm better in
Yeah,
person.
same.
And have fun. But then it's like if you have your dating apps open, that means it's like if you're 2 to 3 months in and you're talking to someone, I'm not saying you have to be exclusive, but if you have a dating app open where people are, or your Instagram, there's like you're constantly, every guy that says, hey, how are you? Great picture. You're constantly responding to DMs. You're constantly leaving your lights open for the next man. So it's like, yeah, how much I'm putting all this time in. And in my mind, I can't talk to, like, I could care less when I'm infatuated with someone, I'm infatuated with someone. So yeah, you have this option of Instagram or social media or TikTok, always in your DMs. And the crazy part is I've even dated like some beautiful women like here in Toronto or something. And it would be like it's celebrities in their DMs. Like I have like hockey players, like Toronto hockey players in their DMs and stuff like
Yeah,
that. How do you compete as like for a
you
one night
can't.
stand when they just you can't? And it's weird. And then even to the point where, and I'm not complaining, I really don't, because like
Well, it's a
like shit
reality.
happens, but it's a reality. But then even like, so I go out with a friend, and I really actually wanted to go out. It was a friend that, and I'm like, let's just go out. And like, if you want to consider a date, we can. But I really want to just go out for food and a drink, and like, let's catch up, let's meet each other. And it was a random Tuesday. She wanted to go for like oysters at like a spot where it's supposed to be dollar oysters. So we go, and after the dinner's done, we have a great time. We're talking 2.5 hours in. But I'm like looking at the bill. I'm like, how did I spend $250 on a Tuesday night when I was here for a dollar oysters? Bought a couple of drinks here and there, paid for the bill, didn't really realize. And I realized like that Tuesday, I just wanted to go out for a quick dinner and say hi to this person. My usual schedule is I have already food in the fridge, I hit the gym, I go to bed. So I maybe spend $10 on that Tuesday. I wanted to just go out, and that somehow I'm at $250. Like, and
Yep.
that's, and yeah,
And that's
so now repeat this. That's,
one date.
yeah, on a Tuesday. That's
Yeah.
not a Friday. That's not a Saturday. And that's not even a real date or the next date or something. That, and it was like, I was kind of like, damn, man, crypto really needs to take off before I'd go do this on a Tuesday again.
Paul Rain says, "Is this a dating podcast?" No, but I think that this is this podcast is more than just crypto. We do the news here too, right? It's financial news, but I think that there are a lot of topics. We also I do like a rabbit hole show where we talk about conspiracy theories and stuff. I think that it's
I should come on
important,
that.
especially on a red day in the market, to just kind of pull away from crypto sometimes. You guys do not
Couldn't
have
agree
to
more.
be married to crypto, guys. there's so much more out there in the world, and we can find value in many things, including understanding the dating world and how it affects our lives and stuff, because it does affect us, because we're crypto bros. Okay, we're gonna be fucking rich. All right, so you're gonna have to figure out how to find yourself a mate before you're rich. Find yourself a girl that is willing to go through the trenches with you while your bags are down, baby. Otherwise, you're just gonna end up with a gold digger.
True. You know, and to that too, like, so there's two, so I do run my own, like, I love your podcast that you're doing here. I think this is much better than what I do, but I run like an X space every Thursday, and it's called Only Chads. And like and that's what it was initially started through. Well, we're doing the meme coin and positive kind of talk and pump this meme coin, but it just turned into, because like I'm a man that I love to talk about everything. And as you see, I'll talk about something from Roman, Greek times to the future, space, whatever the fuck it
Yeah.
is, ideology, money. I'll talk about it all. And sometimes that's what you like. It's just like it's like a chill hangout. So you could say a chat hangout, a boys hangout. People started calling it late night talks. But I think it's really important for exactly what you said, is that these markets won't always going to be green. And during the red days, you still have to be here. They say touch grass. Why not talk about life? These are real people behind the PFPs, behind those NFTs, whatever it is. And you can connect on them in so much level. And then on the last part, just like even a dating app or but anything, the beautiful thing about blockchain is that it's a layer. Oh, it's a layer over anything about your life. You can tokenize IP or own anything now globalized and be able to show someone across the world. Um, so I think that is also another thing why we have to be able to talk about this, because that's actually expanding what crypto is. And if you look at like Dragon's Den or some of those things, I think one of the main guys was the guy who sold one of those big dating apps, and some of the like most wealthiest people sold a dating app to someone. So we're talking about that kind of stuff, and that
I got
question's
a
asked now.
question.
How do you know someone won't put a dating app on the internet and it become, I mean, on the blockchain and become the next big thing? It's just like that's how small but big this world really is.
I just had a light bulb click on right now. How do we decentralize dating
Dating?
apps on the blockchain? How do we tokenize our bitches? Right?
Well, first of all, that's crazy. Wait till you have stripper coin and an actual stripper owns it,
Yeah.
and they're just throwing digital air at her on the stage. Like, come on. No, but like, you know what? I think about like a dating app for sure is like, maybe the dating app gives you a like you look at Tinder right now, is like, even for a guy, again, why dating apps are so hard for guys, or even Vegas. If everything's free, like sorry, we're getting back in Vegas now, or dating, but Vegas, we bought that booth like as a Cardano and as these events, and people buy those booths.
Mhm.
But if you go to Vegas, all you have to be is the pretty bachelorette in line, and half that booth that male or those big businesses buy gets given to those females for
Yep.
free, because they get to go on stage. And it's a business model, right? So, and that makes it so much hard. Guys are always paying the more money, and then it goes even to the likes. You go to Tinder, I could have 50 people swipe right on my profile, but I don't actually get to see them or match them until I pay Tinder the fee of
Right.
$10 a month. So I think that's your answer, is that decentralization on the crypto is, if you have a crypto, you can attach your picture to it like an NFT, and anyone can view it and talk to you.
You know what? I just thought of it. This is it right here.
I'm
And that's a
listening.
great idea, by the way.
No,
NFTing
that's it.
your picture. But I think the inherent issue with dating apps is that they can't have you meet your actual match, because then you are together and you're no longer on the app and they lose the engagement. So it's not
Absolutely.
in their benefit to keep you on the app. What if there was like, so Abstract, right? It's
Oh my God,
ETH
I
chain.
just thought of something.
So Abstract, right? You get paid XP
Yeah.
for playing their games. You could get paid XP for using their dating app, right? Which in turn you could use to pay for your date.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, people don't gamify the system because they will. All I thought about was like, I'll find a girl, me and you. All of a sudden, me and you are boyfriend and boyfriend. Let's go out for dinner, baby. We'll keep this going on
Yeah,
every Friday. No, but I think you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right.
I think
I think
it's the
that's a
first
good
step
idea.
to a good idea. Figuring out how to bring that to the blockchain and to create a way to make it so that the dating app doesn't have a stranglehold on you to keep you dating, but to actually match you with a good match. Because
You
I'll
know,
tell you
like
this, I
I
noticed
love
one
it.
thing. When I was on dating apps, the only time I ever found someone that I really could click with, they were just too far away. And we'd be talking and it would work out and it would be great.
Yo, that's so
And
true.
then they're just so far away. And it's like, it's just like the casino. The casino has to let you feel like you can win, right?
Mhm.
To keep you playing. Same idea. It has to make you feel like there's someone out there for you. But when you are looking in your area, you're just going to get hoes. You know, that's all they're going to give you in
Mhm.
your area, not actually match you with somebody in your area. But they'll put someone that's 2-3 hours out of the way that you could actually relate with. And then you're talking with them and you're spending all this time getting to know each other. And you're like, wow, I really like this girl. And you say, yeah, we're going to meet up. And then it's like, fuck, I'm going to spend 3 hours in a car and $400 in gas just to see this person one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen.
You know what? Man, that's so true.
Dude, I think we should
It's
work
man,
on this new
that's the
blockchain
next
dating app
plan.
thing. I think we're on to something.
I totally can see it, and I like the way you were thinking about it. You were the dopamine and reward comes from the second date or the third date or actually doing something.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like in college where it's like, our college actually has, yeah, we have graduates, but 99% of the graduates actually get the job they're looking for or something like that,
Right.
rather than just say, oh yeah, we got graduates all around.
Maybe it's something like this where to help the native token gain value is that you're earning these points which give you like maybe discounts or something to go on dates. But if you
Yeah,
act and
for sure.
you're stacking these native tokens, right? And let's say you've accumulated so many, and then you actually find a mate and someone you're going to marry, that once you get married it locks your supply, you know, and because your supply is locked, it then gives you a discount for your wedding or something like that. You know what I mean?
Bro, yo, man, not only that, but you could actually have it, this is actually ingenious that it's like, okay, sometimes like we love our wives or like whatever, our significant others, but maybe we don't get them the right, like, the right gift or dinner or whatever or something. And you could actually make it where it's like a program where the points get used and you get an option to redeem the points where it's like, maybe this week you have flour, like there's a like, because this
Right.
is actually putting in small businesses where
Or
it's
you
like,
can
no,
save up for that
it
Hawaii
knows to
trip.
send you flowers, or it knows to send your wife this, or she likes chocolate, and now you have all these businesses working for you, get a discount. And it's almost like every month you haven't sent anything. Are you really thinking about this person or what's going on?
Right.
Yeah, and you can redeem those. Yo, that's interesting. Sorry, I was
I do.
fucking, I could go down a rabbit hole.
I think we're on to uh the next big thing here. Really do. I think just by accident, right? I think everything.
Mixing love with business.
Yeah. Why not,
Yeah.
right? Why wouldn't it something like that come? You know, that's literally what's going on right now in crypto is what can we bring to tokenization? What can we bring to the blockchain? What can we have as utility, right? Why not a dating app? Why not?
Especially like a cross-chain dating app too. That would be interesting too, where it's like you could actually get bonus bucks if you like if you get like a maxi on two different chains
Oh
and
yeah,
start
so
dating
so
or
you're going
something.
from
It's like
farmers only to you know, like Asian dating or something like that, like because you're you know what I mean. And so it's like, so
well,
you're
well,
on farmers only, right? But the Asians, they love their white boys, right? They love the white boys. So it's like you can earn more tokens by coming into this, you know, dating app.
yeah.
And wow, that's, dude, that's We're on something, bro. I
Yeah,
think
or
we should
like
work on
you
this.
find a girl that's in Ethereum or something, and I'm a whale in Cardano, she's a whale in Ethereum. It's like, well, hold on, let's teach each other something here.
Um,
Maybe exchange a couple tokens.
I just want to say this is all recorded, and if you steal
Yeah,
this idea, we will sue you and send you a cease and desist.
that's it, bro. That's it, man. That's it.
We own the
Cross chain
rights to
info.
this
But
technology.
I do think though that first of all, globalization is a big deal, and Rare Evo is an example. Is that you like if you saw like again, I'm a single guy, so I have no problem going out talking to different girls, whatever it is. But even like Vegas was a prime example. You're in Vegas, you have everything you want in Vegas. You can buy a girl, you can find a girl. There's young girls, there's old girls, there's anything you can think of. But the most interesting thing to me was to sit down and have a conversation with just a girl that's actually in crypto, and then I'll figure out the rest of your life. But just the fact that we had that there's obviously something that you chose to believe in this system and invest in and come out here. I did the same thing. There's something subconsciously in us that has already broken down a path, and it's become and it actually makes me so much more interested in people that are trying to develop blockchain. Doesn't matter what chain you are from, because there is some sort of like attachment, even though you could be from across the world or US, but there's something for some reason we're in the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That has to count for something.
I
I
think
don't
it's
know. So
important to
like,
be chain
yeah,
agnostic right
yeah.
now because we're so early.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
You should be chain
No, like,
agnostic. Chat, if you don't know what that means, it means don't be married to your chain. Don't be married to whatever coin it is. Be open to hear about new technology. Be open to different ideas, right?
couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Um, you know what I was gonna say? This has been a fantastic talk, bro. We're almost reaching 3 hours. Do your podcast always or your cast always go this long, or did I
Yeah,
get one of the longer
it's
ones?
a 4 hour podcast, so we're
You
over
got
at
a
9 o'clock.
a
But
four. Oh, you know what it is for me?
normally,
I'm reaching.
normally I have guests on for about an hour, but we were just vibing, dude. Like,
Oh, we could
and I
keep
knew we
vibing.
were gonna get along well because like when we were hanging out in Vegas and how we like bonded over chapstick. Come on, I mean, like I knew it was gonna be great.
Especially dancing in that club to all ends of the night, staying out.
Yeah,
Man, that's always a bond. I always say too, like there is something, and like you have to be in these real life events because if there's like you're applying or you're a friend or whatever it is, you can have the exact same resume or you can be the exact same people. But the person that makes you laugh, or you can go out with a drink with, or that you can like be like a fool around and not get judgmental, will always push to the next stage.
yeah.
And that only happens in real life, right? And like that's example of us. We were absolutely silly, not even in our own minds at
Yeah,
one
there
point, but just
wasn't even
hugging
any
on each other,
girls
having
there.
a
It
great
was
time.
all a bunch of crypto nerd dudes, and we were
Yeah,
just having a blast, dude. I'd never
absolutely.
had so much fun in my life, dude. Like that was great.
Well, we're going to do it again, either at the next event or at least at the next Rare Evo, because
For
I do
sure.
that every single year, the same type of party. So
Yeah, I will
it'll be
be there
great.
next
And
year
hey,
for
man,
sure.
and yeah, if you ever have more of these podcasts, like no, I know you're gonna have more of these podcasts, but you have an opening or a crazy night, I'd love to come talk and just chat,
Yeah,
whatever it
dude.
is.
Well,
So
we can
we'll
make it a
definitely do
regular
that.
thing if you want, man. Every
Yeah,
couple weeks or so, or every week, we'll work
yeah,
it
yeah.
out.
Come in, chat, catch up. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. I'd love it. Even talk cross chain even a bit more, right? So
absolutely. Hey, brother, I appreciate you. And is there anything you'd like to shout out before you leave?
oh man, I didn't even think about that. You know what? No, I want to shout out you first of all because fantastic space, putting us all like putting everyone on at the event and everything you did at the event. Great publicity for a chain that doesn't get enough love. So I appreciate all of that. Shout out to all my friends in Cardano and everyone that's been there, all the listeners here that tune into your show that support you. Yeah, if you guys ever want to learn something more, follow me on X or come into one of our only chat spaces. We can chat or we can chat here. I don't really care. It's all fun. This has been a fantastic time. So
Yeah,
it was really nice meeting you
let me
too.
know when the next only Chads thing is, and I'll try to make sure
Well,
because I had planned to be there that one time you had told me about it, and I couldn't figure out. I'm new to X. I've only been on X for like my account says it's like a year old, but I've never actually been on my X account until Rare Evo. So I had no idea how to use it.
That happens, but it's also, I think, too, the PST and time miscommunication. So I'm Eastern Standard Time, so like even right now it's 11:30 for me. That's why I was like, wait a
Oh,
minute, it's like flew by, which is fine. I actually really don't care because I've been having fantastic conversation, but I do have some things I have to do, and it's Friday night. But so that in my space, since it's running on Thursday, it's actually running directly through your space, because I remember yesterday I was actually hosting my space and I was looking on X and I saw you pop up. Uh, I think it was X or something, and I was watching you talk to Angel Finance, and I was like, oh, that's what happened. We're on different time zones. I'm EST, he's PST, and we're running a show at the exact same time.
got it.
That's what happened. So,
All
but yeah,
right.
so we'll figure it out. We'll
Well,
figure it
then
out.
I'll have to come on your show as a guest.
It's either way, yeah, either that way it is, or maybe one day you could end early and people could come in and we can actually just continue the conversation
I
on
do
X.
that all the
Whatever it is,
time.
we'll figure it out. I
Yeah,
love it. It'll work out.
absolutely. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You have a good night.
No, man, appreciate you. Thanks for having me on. And again, a great chat. If
And
you're going to continue this,
you
enjoy to
you're
the rest of the listeners.
at what on X?
That's a good question. At 905 Rico, RICO. Very easy.
All right, let me put in the chat at
905
905
RICO. Rico.
All right, that's where you guys can follow him on X. So make sure you guys go check out Mike D. Have a good night, brother.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, for sure. You have a good night too. Take care.
All right, bye-bye. What a wonderful conversation. That was great. What a great guy. We had so much fun in Vegas. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's look at the charts. Somebody wanted me to chart Solana. That was on Pump Fund though. But I will chart it so I can remember to tell them tomorrow. Let's see here. Solana. Ooh. I'll tell you this. Solana is an ascending wedge, which is bearish in the 1 day. But however, if we go into alt season, maybe it pumps to a new all-time high. So let's say, I think we have like a cup and handle here. Really, this kind of looks like a cup and handle, right? It's kind of out of structure though. It should have continued up from here, but we got the tariff thing, right? Kind of threw it off. So my take on Solana is more than likely, we have the double bottom. The double bottom will be fully played out at about 222. So $222 should be the top of this double bottom pattern. However, it could go to 240 as well, and it could break structure of this ascending wedge. But if it does play out this ascending wedge and it stops where at that 220 to 240 zone, then that would mean that overall our pattern is a head and shoulders. So, and I don't think that this happens. What I think happens is we kind of trend along this way, something like that. And all-time high is probably going to be around like 350, right? I think we see 350 on this one, 360. That sounds about right. But if it doesn't, and we have that lackluster or super cycle thing happen, right, then this would be a head and shoulders. and that would be done. And that would end us around December, January. I don't think that that happens. I really don't. I think we hit 350 on this one. Sounds right. Let's look at ADA. Man, the viewership was so low today, man. We're still restricted on our viewership on TikTok. It was removed and we were good, and then it just came back. All right, Ada's about to pump, baby. Ada is about to pump. It's also that ascending wedge thing, but I think it takes off. It could potentially shoot up here, double top, and come back down. But I think in the short term, the next price is $1.10. I think ADA is about to hit $1.10 here pretty soon, and maybe just under it, you know. But I think $1.10 is about right. The videos are better. What's up, Fan Jam? How you doing, brother? So yeah, I think Ada's about to pump like any day now. Any day now. Let's check out Arrow. Aerodrome Finance. Oh, that is concerning. It looks like we've broken down here. Now we could potentially fall to 101 and fill that fair value gap before it turns around and goes up. But if you look, and I would say that that's probably likely, because look at this thing is printing higher highs, higher lows as it goes up, right? And it pumped a new one. It's out of balance. It needs to come back down here and then pump again. And that would still be, right? That would still be in that range right there. So if that's the case, I would say this thing's going to come down to probably like 90 cents, maybe $1, and then turn back up. Probably around $1. Dollar seems right. And it'll probably do it like this, right? It'll probably go... maybe come down a little more, squiggly, squiggly, boom, and then bounce. Something like that. And then it could form like a cup and handle right there and take off. So this one could potentially be coming down. Let's check out Rare. Rare. Does that look right? This one looks like it got some potential. Short term, like as in how short a term, like a day or two? Still got to teach you guys gap trading. I keep forgetting to teach that. Or did I teach you gap trading yet? I think I did. Not sure if you are inviting up, but if you do, let's talk about strategy and trading. So I can't have guests up on TikTok, so you'd have to come to Discord, but the show's pretty much over in about 30 minutes and I got to get through TA, but we can schedule you to come on, Fan Jam. I think that's kind of like what it's doing. It should come up here, right? Probably like 5 cents, 5.5 cents, right? Which is where it's at. Let's see. It should. I'll tell you, it doesn't really have much structure. It's not readable. Other than this is kind of a descending channel, which should send it up, which it did. And now it's come back down into the channel. So this one is kind of hard to read here, buddy. All right, I'm going to do bonk. Bonk is ready. Bonk is ready, he says. Oh, yeah. Bonk looks pretty good. We've got a descending channel, which should send it. It looks like it's about to send. It is retesting in the short term right now. And it got rejected here. So if it doesn't move past, you know, it's the top of this wick and continue onward in the next hour. And I wouldn't even say the next hour. I would say in the next day, it could potentially do little squigglies and then go, right? But I've seen this many times where it comes up, it descending channels down, it comes up again to retest and it fails, and then that's a double top. So keep an eye on that one. And that's short term. That's in the 1 hour. And if you also look here in the 1 hour, this is a double bottom that is played out, right? Your double bottom has fulfilled. So it either needs to break above this candle here. It's all those zeros 229, right? It needs to break above that. I would even say above all the zeros 232, 233. If it does break above that, that would be confirmation of a turnaround, or what you need to see is what it could potentially do is come down here and then shoot up from there, and that would be an inverted head and shoulders, taking it up to all those zeros 2489. But that means that it would pull back first and then go. So it would potentially pull back here to all those zeros 2105. This is a buy and trade run. What do you mean? It has a decent buy space. Yeah, I mean, this could turn around, but I honestly, I think the next couple days over the weekend, things are probably going to pull back or they'll pump. So it's kind of 50-50, but I think next week is going to be bullish. I do. L3 sent today. Nice. Run dips and sell high and drop back in, no gains. Or on gains. Got it. Yeah. Redstone sent. Nice. Yeah, you guys have been picking them. TikTok Seller and Big Baller have got the greatest strategy for short-term trading I have ever seen. I would say that it's 99% accurate. And it's been consistent. And I'm not going to lie, I'm still kind of learning it. I don't know how to identify it, but once they identify it, then I can I know when to get out of it. But I haven't figured out how they're identifying it. We're going to have to bring both of you guys up on the show and talk about it again. It's so good. I need to get on this. I need to start doing it because I'm not making any money. I'm getting obliterated in the market. I sold my fart bag and got into SXT and it dropped and I'm just doing bad. I don't know what it is. Maybe I think what it is I don't know. I'm just on a losing streak right now. And which is fine. It happens, right? You're never going to call all of them. I think part of it too, I wouldn't say it's emotion. I think I just don't have big enough bags anymore. You know, I just keep taking, ever since I did that leverage trading just to try it out. And then I rage traded in the leverage trading, and I got wiped out. I just have been struggling ever since. It'll come back. It'll get better. I am confident that I will do just fine. I don't know. I feel like I'm just not plugged in like I used to be on crypto. The show has kind of unplugged me from trading as much. And I'm trying to swing trade now instead of short term. So I just have to be a little bit more patient. That's all. Just got to be patient. It will pay. We're going into alt season, and that's basically where I'm at right now. Is like I'm positioning myself so that when things moon, I'll catch that candle and then I'll be good. Because I just don't have the time to trade every day. I can teach you Monday right after the live tonight. Yeah, dude, let's talk. Are you saying after the live tonight you'll teach me, or you'll teach me on Monday? I get that. I sold almost all of my trading bags, and I have struggled deciding re-entry. Yeah. Oh, Discord call tonight? All right, let's do it. Let's do it with everybody in the Discord. Everyone go join the Discord, and we're going to have a phone call, and we're going to explain the strategy, because I kind of understand the concept of it, and I understand how to get out of it. I haven't quite figured out the getting into it and identifying it. So make sure you join the Discord, link in my bio, and we'll have a Discord call. I can't get into Discord. You're already in, bro. I added you. You got to get in the Discord, man. A lot of things have been happening in there. That is going to be like the cornerstone of this space. Yeah, Big Baller, I added you to I added you to the Discord when we went to sushi. So you're in there. All right, chat. I'm a dinosaur, help me. All right, we'll help you. What you're going to do is make sure you have the Discord app downloaded on your phone. And then you're going to go to the link in my bio and just click my Discord link in my link tree. And that should take you to a portal to enter into the Discord. Click that and you should be in the Discord. And then on the side of the Discord, there's different channels of chat. Just click on general and we'll talk in general. Cheers, buddy, and much love. Yes, make sure you guys come over to the Discord. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the live early right now, 30 minutes early, and we're going to go have a voice live with multiple people in it, and we're going to talk about this new strategy that it has been working. I just haven't been utilizing it. So that way you, as a subscriber, can capitalize on the coin picks that I've been throwing out for subscribers. So make sure you come over to the Discord. The link is in my bio. It always tells me action can't be completed trying to join anyone's Discord. Ugh. You should be okay. And it's probably user error or you don't have the app downloaded. It could also be there are apps on your phone. I had the Discord on my phone, and every time I opened up the Discord, it would redirect me to a different app or a screen that said action can't be completed because there was apps in my phone that it would go to. Which Discord app? It's in the link in my bio on Twitch as well. It's on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. All the links are in all my bios. I was scammed. Please, I need a new coach and want to withdraw the remaining coins. If you want a coach, become a deluxe subscriber and I can coach you one-on-one. I also have a premium subscription if you texting is too hard and you need to schedule a phone call with me. I do offer phone chat as well. It is more expensive because my time is valuable, but I do offer up to 1 hour phone coaching. So you can schedule a 1 hour meeting with me on Discord. So you have to join the Discord. So, or you can just become a deluxe subscriber. It's a lot cheaper, and text me and we can do this over time. Just understand that coaching is not something that happens overnight. These things take time. Okay. And remember that I'm coaching like 70 something people. So, be patient. If you're in this market, you should be patient anyway. Okay. I will get to you and your questions will be answered. And also, you know, you got to remember, you got to reach out to me. You got to be answering the questions. You got to be engaging. You get out of it what you put into it. All right, chat. I'll see you all in Discord. Are we in a buy zone yet? It depends on what project. I would say with H-bar, possibly, yes. XRP, I would say possibly yes. SXT, ooh, let's take a look at that. I'll tell you this, I transferred my fart coin into SXT because I want to be in an alt if we're moving into alt season. I'll tell you what I saw with SXT. This is, I believe SXT is forming a double bottom. And it's going to do something like that, okay? Which should take it up to like 15, 16 cents and probably beyond. If we go into alt season, it could potentially flag right here and then take off from there, okay? And go up to 20 cents, 50 cents, $1, who knows, right? But I think we've got a nice double bottom forming right here is what I see. I am buying it personally. And it could fall all the way down here to 6.5 cents, which is our original buy zone. But from there, it should turn up. This is a nice descending channel and it's long, baby. That's a long leg. So either it's going to break down and drop here hard very soon, or it's going to take off. That's why I entered in here at about 7 cents. Okay. 7 cents was my buy zone. I'm in there. That's a great spot. That's that fair value gap. I think it's all up from here, baby. Your average is 8 cents right now. Don't worry. It's going well past 8 cents. Just give it some time on this one. Okay. It's called space and time. All right. You got to give this one time. It's a baby. It's just a little baby. It's in what I would call accumulation phase. Everything else in crypto is not in this phase. I mean, there's a few of them. This is your coin for when you make a bunch of money off of XRP and it moons like this, instead of pulling out of the market and putting it into USDC, you're moving it into SXT. So you're not paying taxes on it yet. I like the squill pulls. SQL? Is that a project, SQL? Oh man, my back. It's killing me. You still pay taxes doing that. Not if you just transfer from token to token, only if it goes into USDC. Yes, you will pay taxes when you exit the market. But if you are holding long term, you won't until you actually take profits. It's SQL queries. I don't even know what that is, bro. So move Toshi into SXT. If that's what you want to do, you have to decide for yourself. I think SXT is ready to send, honestly, unless it hits resistance here at 0718, right? 0720. If it hits resistance at 0720, it'll come back down one more time, possibly, or a few more. SXT pulls data via SQL. Oh, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. Sorry, SQL is the actual token, right? Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. All right, guys, I'm going to be in Discord. Come over to Discord. We're going to talk about the database or whatever. I don't quite understand this technology. What I do know is that it does something different than everything else does. That's why I like it. And it's cross-chain, cross-border. That's why I like it. All right, chat. I will see you all in Discord. Make sure you come over and get free information. We are literally going to teach you how to print money. We have a pretty much foolproof system that is printing money every single day, okay? And you can literally just pick these coins and they just send, okay? They send and you can just collect $100 bills every single day, baby. Which Discord app? What's it called? The Discord app is called Discord. It's literally in Discord. It'll be in general. Hashtag general. What's up, Sydney Hotshots? You came late, but we're going to Discord. Come and learn this strategy that has proven itself over, I would say, it's been a couple months. We've been utilizing this, and I would say it's pretty much foolproof. It's gonna make you money. Do you know Big Baller's username on Discord? I don't. I feel like it's Big Baller or something. I can't remember. We were so focused on Beer Gator, that was like the least of my concerns at that time. All right, guys. I will see you in Discord. Be there or be broke.